Warning, Supernatural The Crossroads contains adult language and discussions. If you're easily offended, do not continue to listen.
Oh, Dad. Oh, Dad. Oh, Dad.
I went to the crossroads. Fell down on my
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Supernatural The Crossroads on Rainman Digital Crossroads 003. As always, I'm your host, Thomas Cowley, and joined with me today is Ryan Denton.
What up?
And Michael Flores, who's...
Bitch! Hi, I'm Mike. I'm gay.
One day he's going to have that perfectly timed to where I say Michael Flores, and then he'll immediately...
I'm telling you to shut up, bitch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's getting better.
He'll get close eventually.
All right, guys, we are talking about Supernatural Season 10. Was this episode 15, Ryan? Is that right? Or 16?
Sure.
It is.
It's 15.
The things they carried, the show and ourselves have been off for about a month. So I like to think some people would like to hear us again, but I know everyone's happy to see the show again.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's what people care about is the show.
Not us at all.
No, not at all.
Guys, some real quick thank yous. We did a AMA, for those of you who don't know, that's an Ask Me Anything on the website Reddit. Basically like a little digital interview with us a couple weeks ago on our friend subreddit. I guess friend subreddit, is that what we should call them?
Well, yeah, I guess.
We're friends.
We're sort of friends.
We're sort of friends?
We're friends with benefits.
Oh, there we go. On Fandom Natural, and we want to thank all of you guys for taking the time to talk to us, ask us questions. It was a lot of fun, for me at least. Maybe not Ryan and Mike, I don't know.
No, I had a blast, dude. I had an absolute blast. I mean, I don't know about the 100 Castiel-sized ducks or the...
Dude, okay, no. So, question about that. Why would you want to fight... Which one did you pick?
100 duck-sized Castiels, dude.
You chose... But they're all going to nuke you in like a heartbeat.
Bro.
One giant duck at least is a duck.
All you got to do is throw some bread, and it's over.
Just because he's the size doesn't mean he's going to act like a duck.
Ryan does think like a 12-year-old.
No, right? All I saw when that question was posed was like, all right, now I've got 12 times the nuclear powerhouse is coming for me that I cannot attack. Meanwhile, if it's a giant duck, I could like sword fight that or something.
Hold on, they didn't preface if you actually get Castiel's real size, because it'd be a duck the size of the Empire State Building.
Either way, I think you lose. And Godzilla has at least died in movies.
That's true, I guess. Can I summon?
Castiel's still winning.
Can I summon Godzilla to take care of business?
Not Final Fantasy. You can't summon Godzilla.
Oh, heard.
But you can't summon Shiva if you want.
See, Mike doesn't like to let people know, but he is a nerd. He knows Final Fantasy.
He knows his nerd shit.
All right.
Fine.
So that was a lot of fun for us, guys. So thank you for doing that. Maybe they'll have us again in months' time when we actually have more to talk about.
I mean,
rather than just
I
our
don't know
boring
what
lives.
you guys could possibly ask us that you didn't ask us in the AMA. I mean, maybe what color underwear Thomas is wearing, I guess.
I was kind of hoping they asked penis size.
Dude, I thought for sure. I thought, you know what? We're going to get a penis question. There was one question where it was like, what would you not want to do or what would make you uncomfortable? And I said, I didn't want
in my ass.
I didn't want to that. And I didn't want to kiss Thomas because I knew I'm sure that was somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't want Thomas's dick in my ass.
I prefer not to have him balls deep in my butthole, but...
Are you going to help me now or not?
We're back, folks. We are back.
I was surprised that there was less dirty questions than I thought there was going to be.
I thought there was
based on some of the things we've gotten on Twitter. I really did like how much time a lot of people took to formulate those questions.
Really cool questions.
One of my favorites was just because of I like thinking about what could have been at times.
We know you like thinking.
Right. Was where would we change the show?
Oh, that was such a good question.
It was a great question, and I couldn't answer it because it would have been a novel, dude.
I know which one. That's what you wrote.
That's the one I wrote. Said I'll answer this later. Let me think about it, and I never went back. But like, dude, if I had a day and a half to write a
whole fan fiction, essentially,
right? I would totally, because I already have ideas in my head, but I
Right.
wanted to be. I didn't want to just like half-ass it and write a couple sentences.
Well, what point would you jump in and change things? At least give them the
season 7.
Season 7 would start like it did, and then I would take it down a whole other dark mythological path. It would still deal with the Leviathan, but the Leviathan wouldn't be the corny, silly
The face monsters
they were. They would be more dark, more biblical. And
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's what I would change. Going into season 8, I don't mind season 8 and season 9, season 10 so much. It's season 7, even though I love Dick Roman, one of my all-time favorite characters, I just think the execution of the Leviathan was over the top and silly.
Right. Ryan, what did you pick?
I would agree. I mean, I'm not a writer. I think we all three of us know that I'm not a writer, and I don't really.
It's not exactly your cup of tea.
It's not my cup of tea, but
I'm smart, unlike someone we know.
I like how he shows all the Arnold Schwarzenegger drops.
I know.
I'm okay with this. I'm absolutely okay with this.
Because of your horrible growling.
Chopper.
What would season 7 though? That's where you would jump in again.
Be season 7. I think personally, what I would do is I wouldn't change so much of the season as much as changing the corny look of the Leviathans. I think if I had to go back and change, like, someone was like,
it wasn't just the look though. It was just like their whole manner, like their whole demeanor was like, I mean, I'm gonna bib you. I'm like,
yeah. Like, what does that even mean?
That's just stupid, man. Come on.
For me, I went with Eve at right before 7. I would have changed 7 a bit, but I thought that Eve was such a cool concept.
They could have carried her on.
That should have been a whole season. She should have been like the big bad. Big bad.
Oh, big
exactly.
Dad.
For season 6 and then 7 leading into some of the other stuff. And I felt like that was just brought up to immediately change gears.
Big Dad and the toast.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't like either. Eve died way too soon.
She did, absolutely.
And she was such a cool character, but again, season 6 wasn't really about her. She wasn't really the villain of season 6.
She was played as she would be the villain. It was this thing on the horizon coming.
She was a bear that she said, "Don't poke me. Don't poke the bear because the bear will leave you alone." And that's why she even came, was because she was being threatened by Crowley and Castiel trying to take over Purgatory.
And see, I thought that would have been really cool to have that. And I mean, the Leviathans even reference how Eve was a whore. There was this feud going on between them. And I would have liked to see if Leviathans and all the monsters and Eve's children had been fighting in Purgatory this whole time. She's a whore.
She's a whore.
I thought that would have been cool.
Which conveniently enough, they kind of allude to that storyline for this past episode.
A little bit.
Yeah. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So in this episode, we had the long-awaited return of Travis Aaron Wade, good friend of the show, aka Cole. When I saw a little snippet of the trailer, and you guys know I don't watch trailers.
You cheated.
No, because it was on. I hate Facebook now because it just starts auto-playing.
God, the autoplay is
and that
so
ruins
shitty.
so many things. But that started auto-playing on my Facebook feed, and I saw Cole right by the car, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is going to be sweet!" And so then I immediately turned it off. Yeah. But it did get me excited.
Oh shit, this would be sweet. Off.
That's just how I work.
Now I know how his sex life is.
Well, dude, he probably gets a new video game and it loads up the screen. It's like, shit, this is badass. Off.
Exactly. I don't want to know what's going to happen. Better close the book on that now.
Shit, I'm about to come. Stop.
I wish that was possible.
You've never edged before?
Stop.
Come on, man.
You can't stop yourself?
You can't get to a point. There's a point of no return.
No, there's still seepage. But I mean, I could stop.
I hope everyone hashtag seepage. I hope we get a hashtag.
But you
out
could
of that.
stop.
Dude, yeah, but seepage is hard, bro, and that hurts.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
This just got... We are back. I love it.
It's been a while. I'm not used to it. Wow.
I almost spit my water everywhere.
Oh, my God.
I almost just...
Don't be a spitter, Ryan. Come on.
Dude, no, I'm a swallower for sure.
What the hell are we talking about? All right, so into news.
Yeah, what a segue.
Right.
Hey, on to other news from seepage.
That's what we're doing. That's how it is here. That is how we do it here, and everyone knows that. We go from one sexual thing into regular talk again.
What a shit show.
Right? So in a recent... Was it?
Just turn it off.
Don't do that. In a recent interview with Variety, Jared Padalecki said that Sam and Dean essentially are going to be doing a lot of battle with themselves this season, which is something we've kind of not that way, Mike.
A lot of seepage. Oh, fuck.
But that is something we've brought up as a possibility this season, that there's not really a main villain. That's just kind of the brothers and their issues and everyone else's issues in this season. Personal season rather than, giant problem. I think, again, the only thing we've really seen besides the Mark of Cain, which has been ongoing for 2 seasons now, is the Grand Coven. And that is still yet to show its face with more than half the season over.
I have a feeling that the Grand Coven is not going to be very major. Just the way...
After Eve, I agree.
I just don't know. I don't know. Like, we're on episode 15, and we're not even... I mean, even the main story arc has barely been touched on, really.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot could happen. As we know, Carver does a lot with a little. Have you noticed?
Yeah, he does.
That he'll do a lot in 2 episodes, whereas Kripke and even Gamble, for the most part, except season 7, kind of kept you going throughout.
Right.
Yeah.
They gave you like little breadcrumbs. This one's a little bit, not so much that way. Carver doesn't do that.
No. I mean, I like to think that the Coven, I think it'll either go one of 2 ways. It'll be either nothing really that big, or like a tease like Eve ended up being, or I think it's there, and I don't get this vibe just because of how the show's been doing it so far. Like, it would be take this long to get to that point because it's something really big.
Yeah.
And
So do you agree that they will? That they will kind of discuss, like, we'll learn more about the Coven, not just, hey, we're here, hey, we're dead.
Yeah, I really hope they don't do that. I feel like that to build this long for that.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like that.
And to build up Rowena's character.
I think, dude,
Exactly.
I think obviously this is what I think. I think they're going to be a next season thing. And it's going to get to a point at the end of this season where it's like season finale or whatever. Boom, here they are. Yeah. Oh my God, we're scared out of our minds. So, and it's going to get pushed off into the next season, and then they're going to be the big.
You know what? We've had a lot of people since the Phoenix Comic Con, marathoning, or not Phoenix Comic Con, the Phoenix Supernatural Con.
See, you said it too.
Yeah, marathoning our show, and they're like, "Holy shit, you guys call shit!"
I saw that Twitter.
Like, dude, at least once or twice a day,
I saw
dude.
that
I'm getting tweets from people who have been back listening. Yeah. Like, at least I'd say a good dozen people, but about a dozen people who just went back and marathoned our show, and they're just like, "Man, you guys call this."
Yeah,
we're pretty good at it.
Did we call Bloodlines being a shitter?
I think we were blowing it. Yeah, we're optimistic.
We were really optimistic about it. Yeah.
Well, to be fair to us, there was nothing really.
There was no reason to think otherwise at the time.
There was no clue as to what it was really going to be about.
Then we just raped the shit out of it next show.
Well, several shows afterwards.
Actually, every show seems like it gets a mention.
Of course.
No, but this season, like we said, there hasn't, us predicting stuff again, there hasn't really been a major villain. It's been very personal. Yeah. And Padalecki said the same as much. I mean, recently there was the whole, is Cain dead or not? But either way, Sam knows something's wrong with Dean. And to that, he says, Sam knows his brother very well, and he knew when he saw Dean's face after Dean had gotten rid of Cain, but still had the mark, that Dean was not okay. He knows Dean is too gruff and tough to admit all the time that he needs help, though he has, here and there, finally broken down and said, yeah, I could use a hand. So Sam is going to do what he thinks is best for his brother.
But he's rough and tough.
I mean, we kind of talked about that on the last show, that what essentially that Sam has to be the older brother. It's kind of like been a role switch, a little bit.
Role reversal. Dude.
If you go all the way back to, was it seasons 1 and 2, where Sam has powers, he doesn't know who he is, what's going on. He's the one in trouble, and Dean's the one saying, "We'll figure it out." That's been complete opposite this season.
Yeah.
Yep. Sam has to take over Dean's big brother responsibilities. Seems like quite a bit, actually.
And even they've kind of switched their personality traits in some ways, and Padalecki says that himself. Sam's been down in dark places, and Dean has always helped him through. So I know selfishly Sam doesn't want to lose his brother, but unselfishly Sam would like to help his brother the same way that his brother has helped him many times. Dean was the one who, I mean, Gabriel even said it to Sam in this incident, but it was the same concept, that Dean would never let Sam go. That's what led to the whole conflict of season 3, the selling his soul instead of just accepting death.
Right.
And I really wonder, will they have... Carver's been very big on parallels to previous seasons and previous ideas.
Yeah, he's done that a lot this
Will
season.
that show its face in a similar way to season 3 with Sam?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that in a little bit of a way, but I'd like to see You know what I really want to say? I just want to see if Kane's alive.
Dude, that's all I give a shit about, bro. Like, I think I just want to see him show up all epically and shit.
It would be cool because he kind of did give us that allusion to the end of the show, possibly, that we talked about.
Who called that?
I think you're learning. You're learning the ways of well, dude, you used to watch a show just to watch a show. Now you're learning to watch it as a guy who's trying to figure out what's going to happen. So doesn't it open it up a different way of how you're watching a show now? Be honest, it does.
Maybe a little bit, but
Come on.
Well, hold on now.
You were thumb up your ass, Ryan. Now you're not.
Wow. It's actually fist up my ass. But anyways.
Okay, then.
No, because I watch Supernatural different than I do like Flash or Arrow.
Right.
Because I watch both those shows, and I actually watch Flash, and every episode afterwards I speculate.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I'm like, oh wow, that could be this could be that. And with Supernatural, I still watch it.
You're still just along for the ride,
I think I'm half and half.
You're getting there.
I'm getting there. Eventually, I don't want to ruin Supernatural for me. You know
I get what you're saying, because I try to find, like, I hate taking notes during Supernatural. And I sit there with my notepad, and I look at my notepad by the end of the show, and there's nothing on it the first time I watch it, because I don't want to take notes. Because I love Supernatural so much. It's not a show I'm going to watch that I want to just review. I have to actually watch it again, because I love Supernatural. Even the shitty episodes, I enjoy.
Right.
So, it takes a lot for me to just pull out that notepad and just watch it. I get what you're saying, Ryan. Although I do think you have learned to watch the show differently.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why I said I'm 50-50 now. I just don't want to lose... I don't want to lose the fun and awesomeness that is Supernatural if I just go overly, analyzing the show and stuff. So, I don't know. I think I'm 50-50 now.
Oh, we'll find out. We got a whole other season to keep you going down this dark road.
Thanks. The dark road of turning on to Thomas.
Oh, all right. It's not that bad. You get used to it. The bitterness fills you. It's okay.
The negativity and bitterness. Show's gonna suck.
All right, guys, with that, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get into our breakdown of episode 15, The Things They Carry.
What is it? Spirit? Demon? What?
I don't know.
What is it?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we're goo positive. What does that mean?
It's not like it's an exact science.
Dude, what the hell?
I don't know.
No, seriously, what the hell?
I don't know.
One theory, any theory.
Who are you?
Name's Cole.
I did 2 tours in Iraq. Special Ops, Darfur.
Your older brother, Dean.
Where is he?
He and I, we go way back.
What I do is hunt monsters.
You've got a family, Cole. I'm guessing they need you to come back. And they need you to come back whole.
Dad!
Dean Winchester murdered my father.
That was not your father, Cole. Your dad was a monster.
But what kind of monster was he?
I don't know. Never seen that guy before, never seen him again.
Hello, Rain Man Digital listeners. The new Rain Man Digital app is now available in the Google Play Store. You can now take the entire Rain Man Digital Network on the go, anywhere you want to go, on your Android-based device. Whether you want to listen to Supernatural, The Crossroads, The Rain Man Show, Critique Revolve, Weird West Radio, or Star Wars From the Back to Tank, it doesn't matter. You can take all those shows now on any Android device. So go to the Google Play Store and search Rain Man Digital and download the free app today. The app will also be available very soon for iPhones. So keep checking in. Previously on Supernatural, The Crossroads.
Like I said, he's kind of human still. That's still a part of who he is. I think that's why he's even worried about the dreams he had and the nightmares, and his mother's even still alive because old Demon Crowley wouldn't have cared.
Right.
She'll be back.
Fucking redheads, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Now,
drop your bags.
Drop your bags.
Stay a while.
Drop your
bags and pretend you're gonna run away.
And I'll grab your arm and
you're really going to the bedroom.
I want to know what love is.
I still don't get why do we learn more about Mike's personal life every time.
Come on, it wouldn't be incest. I mean, he's in a meat suit.
Yeah, he's in a different body. That makes it okay,
it's not his body.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes it okay.
I'll do it through this little hole in the sheet. That makes it okay.
Technically, when he masturbates, he's not really masturbating either. He's jerking some guy off.
Welcome back, guys, to Supernatural The Crossroads. Now we're talking about Season 10, Episode 15, The Things They Carried. This one is directed by John Badham and written by Jenny Klein. I think I got that right.
You may have gotten those correct.
All right, Ryan, what's this episode about?
All right, the synopsis. While looking into a strange murder, Sam and Dean run into Cole, who reveals he has a connection to a suspect. While investigating, the three learn they are dealing with an offshoot of the con worm. When Cole is infected by it. And I see con is spelled Khan, so I just want to scream con all day long. Con! That was just completely random.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that, Ryan. No, I mean, this one did have, we mentioned it earlier in the show today, this one had Cole. And I was actually really excited about that. I saw half of the teaser and then stopped.
Yes, he was like... Anyway...
I yelled like that, except I said Cole.
Well, no. So Thomas. I mean, everyone knows that Thomas doesn't like any spoilers. So Thomas was scrolling through Facebook, and it just started the
autoplay, dude.
And
autoplay
he saw
will
Cole,
ruin
and
your
he's
life.
like, "Well, fuck, got to stop this." And hits it. Like, I don't understand. Why didn't you just didn't give in to your?
I never do, dude. After a couple of movies that ruined every single good scene,
that makes sense.
I was like, why watch a shorter version of something I know I want to enjoy?
You know why I watch promos? Because the promo never really tells you what happens, and usually it kind of throws you the opposite direction.
And that's another reason.
It actually,
That's another reason, because if I get excited by something, and then they go a completely different direction.
You've had a lot of disappointment in your life, haven't you?
My life is mostly
doesn't he talk like
dude, every time he takes a pee, it's a disappointment.
It is, yeah. I've been burned one too many times with life, so
out of his pee hole.
So that's just why I just don't enjoy trailers.
Now, to start things off about this episode, hold on. The opening scene of this episode,
surprisingly dark,
was the fucking darkest thing I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, we've seen gory stuff. We've seen graphic things. Because I know we said something similar a couple weeks ago. People were like, "Oh no, there's always some really graphic violence in Supernatural," but this was different. It was the entire tone.
Yeah,
it didn't even feel like I was. I thought I was watching the sequel to Saw at the beginning.
They did the whole shot where the dude's blurry and you can see him coming.
He's got that weird crick neck.
Oh yeah, the crick neck, and what the fuck's he carrying? And
if anybody's a video game player, it reminded me Silent Hills, the PT trailer that was on PS4 not too long ago. The ghost has that same kind of body language.
It's creepy, dude.
It's just creepy. The way they shot it, and exactly like you said, Mike, it looked like something out of Saw. It wasn't exceptionally bloody compared to other things we've seen on this show,
right?
But it was still way more disturbing.
It was the tone itself,
and I actually really liked that about this episode. I think this is one of the first times in a long time we've opened the episode and it's nighttime.
Right.
That alone, I was like, all right, maybe this will be a little different than it normally is.
That complete opening scene. He just slits her throat like it's
way to go, Jenny. Jenny Klein wrote that. Jenny Klein. I like
That's
her.
Some dark shit.
Is she hot?
Jenny, are you hot and are you single?
A single guy Ryan is, and he's trying to work his way through the phone book.
A good writer and hot, that's a catch.
That's a win-win.
I'm gonna Google.
Is she into fellatio? That'd even make her even better.
Oh.
No, but with this episode, I really did.
She's on Snapchat,
Is
Ryan.
she on Snap?
On Snapchat. I will be Snapchat.
You are such a perv.
What? Why?
You know why.
What? Why? After you just said if she's on Snapchat.
I'm going to Google her. Let's see if she's on Snapchat. I'm totally going to send her something.
Well, I would send
Why
her,
am I a perv?
Whoa, hold on. I'd send her an angle picture to start off. Like an angle.
Right.
And then after that, we'd go lower. It just depends.
Go for the bad guy pose. That's a low angle. The Michael Bay pose.
What'd you say? The Michael Bay?
Bay.
Michael Bay.
Okay, we're completely off topic now.
No, but I liked how this one started at nighttime. Usually the season, or a couple of years now, it's been, daytime episode, they're goofing off a bit, and then it gets into something darker. This reminded me all the way back to season 1 and 2, where it's monsters, what's happening, let's solve the mystery kind of thing. And this one was fucking creepy, dude. I mean, I didn't see the trailer, so I don't know if you guys expected the Conworm 2.0.
Yeah,
and I know I'm jumping ahead, but when that thing first appeared, holy shit.
Dude, I was like, he's got a centipede in his mouth. Oh, fuck. That's disgusting.
I loved it.
It was great.
It was disgusting, but it was, yes. It was awesome.
It was. That's a phobia that I've had ever since.
Really?
Well, dude.
It's body horror.
Yeah, man. Classic sci-fi horror. And ever since the alien virus popping out of your out of your freaking stomach and going through your mouth. I mean, that when I was a kid, that was just truly horrific to me in my mind. I'm like,
really? You were
my
that
God.
scared of it?
When you're
Were you not?
When you're 10 years old, dude, watching Aliens and the thing,
It didn't scare me, bro.
terrifying like you're scared of the dark. It was like, it's just something going in your mouth and inside your body that you can't stop from going in there and growing and popping out. Yeah, man, that was always.
It's the exact same concept of why Alien was written to be the way it was in the beginning. That whole rape scenario of something forcing its way inside you, and you can't control what's happening. No, jokes aside,
he writes for Huffington Post.
I write for Huffington Post. Apparently,
that makes sense.
Don't.
Hold on.
He could find rape analogies in anything. No, but I do totally agree with that.
It is completely
all jokes
true.
aside. I
understand. I get that. I understand that. But the thing is, for me, like with Alien, the face huggers, I was like, oh, cool, a flying vagina. Like it never really. It was scary.
Flying vagina scary.
That's what it looked like, dude. It looked like a flying vagina, dude.
If your vagina has wings, I'm running.
Like it just didn't.
That really didn't get to you.
Not really.
Wow, that's surprising.
But not only that, it's just the classic B horror, like the Blob and,
you know what it reminded me of?
The Thing. It's just it had that feel to it. The B horror films.
The episode reminded me of Slither.
Yes, and I love that movie
in a lot of ways.
Just that's James Gunn, isn't
it? Worm like squirming across the.
And I absolutely loved Slither. Loved it. And that's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. Yeah.
Especially when I saw how they looked beforehand too. Like was it Kip?
Yeah.
You see how he looks, Kit.
Yeah.
He looks very similar, like the first stages kind of thing, with his skin's all messed up and just kind of controlled by this thing. And this whole episode did really creep me out. When it first popped out, part of me was like, oh God, what the hell?
God, phrasing.
I really was creeped out by this episode.
Yeah.
It was very creepy. I think
skin crawl.
Exactly.
Yes, very much so. I think just knowing that there's something inside you, like feeding off of you, I think is a scary part about it.
Now, the question, though, because they actually referenced the previous season, all the way back, season 6 was episode 16. The Conworm. That I thought was, again, we talked about this a little earlier, what Eve, her whole story could have been.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was one of the more interesting and creepy creatures that had been developed since Kripke had left the show.
Yeah. The whole like Bobby, when he was talking through the worm.
That was a great scene.
And he was like, we're something new that Eve has cooked up. They don't even have a name for us yet. Remember he said that they don't even have a name for me yet.
Dude.
And I liked that there was still a new monster that she just made.
She's like, let's throw this together.
Yeah, that was cool. But
like, this monster's disgusting.
No.
Now, is this an offshoot of that one? Did something survive from season 6 to reproduce, or was this an older version of Eve's new conworm? I mean, the conworm can control their brain. Seems obviously a little more powerful and useful than just it makes you really, really thirsty and then you die.
The Eve worm, the original one from season 6 seemed to be more intelligent.
Exactly.
This one seemed more barbaric and just a
primal, more chaotic.
Yeah, more primal. That's a good word for it.
It was just a monster or an animal, really. And I don't see Supernatural going down that route necessarily, but what if it was just a creature?
So good.
If it was just a creature
it's
that
much
exists, not necessarily a monster. I mean, it's in Iraq, the desert, the whole world they've never been to.
So maybe it's not even a monster.
Maybe it's not necessarily.
Well, that's kind of like I know you guys don't watch Grimm, but that's kind of what Grimm has done. They've separated. There's the monsters of their world, and then there's things now in episodes where like that's not one of us. That's like what is it, and it leaves you open to saying what is this, and that's kind of I can't see Supernatural going down that route, but it would be interesting.
I don't either necessarily, but it could be another way to open the world yet again.
Yeah,
that
so something
there's
beyond
just something
monsters?
we don't know because. I mean, how many times have they said we haven't explored the ocean, or the Amazon jungle they find new species every day? Maybe it was something played off of that, even if it was just a concept.
All I know is the motherfucker was gross looking.
Yeah, well, my thing was I went through all the websites looking for anything to kind of like
confirm or deny.
Yeah, whether this was the con worm, and everyone's kind of just accepting that it was in fact Eve's. The Eve worm.
So is this a new version?
Me, that's what I'm wondering. Like, I want confirmation because they kind of just it's the con worm, but like, so.
But it doesn't follow
survived?
any of the tenets of the con worm, except for the fact that it's a worm.
Right. That's the and it looks totally different. It didn't. The original one
like
it went in the ear. Looked like a tiny little looked like my penis, very small,
very small and very slender.
And this one had a mouth and had like.
I think it's a centipede with pinchers and
don't talk about it. I want to get my feet off the ground.
I know, dude.
It's right there, dude. Oh my god!
Stop it.
Well, here's what I thought was interesting is that doesn't he shoots a worm into into Cole's mouth, but somehow there's another one in his mouth.
That was my thing. No, jokes aside.
So
the first one, there's two.
I'm assuming that it just is like it passes it. Like there's one,
I'm
and then it has like some
inside you like Alien.
Disgusting.
That's why it drains all the water from your body. It
drains all the water
to make another one.
Splooge out of your mouth.
Ugh.
And dehydrate you into the other. See, look, dehydration, splooge into someone's mouth.
You need Gatorade after.
Was this a huge sexual
the cabin's
metaphor?
full of smoke?
Yeah, the cabin's full of smoke. Is this a huge sexual metaphor? I think it is.
I'm sure there's lots. I'm sure somebody out there can find lots of subtext.
If there was a sexual metaphor from two dudes playing foosball,
right
in episode 1, there is a sexual metaphor in this episode. I guarantee it.
So if you guys out there have any confirmation on whether or not,
or even your theories,
a theory, share it with us. Post it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/supernatural the Crossroads. And I would like to hear theories on this because I'm going to go on the fact that it is not related to
really?
Eve. It's totally different. Totally different.
We didn't even get a name or anything.
Well, that's the kind of the coolness about it. It's the con worm. Yeah, I love that. That's what they call it.
That's a great name.
I just love it. Yeah, so it so fits in the supernatural, dude, the pop culture side of things.
Was it like the Jefferson
Starship?
Yeah.
Jefferson Starship.
No. So, I mean, let's go away from the worm for just a second. Let's talk about the season as a whole. We start out, I loved the little joke about, dude, you looking at porn?
Yeah.
I would have thought, because
he closed that laptop fast, too.
Dude, I would have thought the same thing if I was dealing dude, what are you doing?
Bro, you whacking it?
Listen.
Not where we eat.
When someone walks in and you're looking at something wrong and you're going to cut, just leave it open.
Just leave Alt-tab
the chances are they'll just walk away. They're just coming to say what's up.
Bro,
if you, I never understood people that do that. Just leave it open.
You remember that story?
And get caught with 4 screens around you with porn on it. And
remember that story you told us?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
about. Is he using that story or not?
That story is between us.
Oh, God, I hope to tell somebody that someday. Here's the thing. What I thought was funny is, yes, the not where we eat comment. That was hilarious.
Real quick, when they were in the car, he's like, dude, I know you're not looking at porn. I almost wanted him to say, yeah, I am. Just just to try and throw Dean off.
And pull up Brazzers on there?
Yeah.
And show it to him?
Private browser.
That would have been funny. I think that was a great joke.
But I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that Dean has, I'm jumping into the topic here. I think it's interesting that Dean has accepted his fate.
Yeah.
Whereas he's pretty much accepted that, hey, we're not going to find anything. I'm stuck with the mark. Whereas Sam is the one who has not accepted it.
Well,
which I think, again, is a complete role reversal. Like we were talking about earlier.
Well, elaborate, because I was going to say, that reminds me, that same situation of season 3, where Sam's like, we're going to find a way to stop you going to hell. We're going to fix this.
Right.
And Dean's just like, F that, let's get drunk.
Right, but I feel like Dean's the one that never gives up. He never gives up when it comes to the fight or comes to like taking out
the
monsters.
major fight.
The major fight. So. Whereas Sam has given up a couple times.
You know, that's what it is. Sam,
do you think this is a real? Because one thing I was thinking was in the past when he says kind of accepted his fate, you never really believed it. When he was going to hell, you kind of like he was trying to play the tough guy.
Right.
Because then he admitted, I am afraid.
I'd be fucking afraid.
Now, I have the sense that Dean, for the first time, has really, truly accepted it. Like, I really did believe the fact that, listen, enough's enough. We've dragged this on. We've gone through this scenario, and I'm just going to deal with it. And I actually believe him, because you never really believed him before. I think this time I actually do believe that he truly means it, that he's accepted it.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with both facts. Real quick, Ryan, I agree that Dean more so is like, it's going to happen. We're going to solve it when it comes to the bigger things. And it reminds me very specifically of season 5, where it's like Destiny, F the angels. We're going to figure it out.
On our own. Yeah.
But Dean has always been the one to give up on himself. Rather than Sam and rather than the situation. He gives up on himself. When he's the one at risk, he's like, let me go, screw it.
And I think that's part of the reason why I believe it so much is I don't want I think he sees this ending very badly for everybody, especially after what Kane told him.
Oh, dude, wouldn't you?
And I think he doesn't want to shake. Don't lift the rock. Don't lift the rock if you don't want to see what's under it. And I think that's kind of what, you know what I mean? Like,
don't mess with the bull or you get the horns.
So stupid. And I think that's kind of why he's accepted it. Like, don't get me wrong. And also, when you've tried to find countless, cures or fixes, you also kind of like the way he says he's got to move on. And I think he wants to move on. And I think if he feels like there's a hope, that it's always going to hold him back slightly. So I think that he's accepted it. But more so, like what you just said, I think it is because he doesn't want Sam to like end up getting caught in the crosshairs. And I think that's bottom line why he's accepted it.
I was going to say, this all kind of, it just always reminds me of the whole alcoholism, drug addiction concept.
Parallel.
Where that they're never cured of anything. It's just something that they live with and move on.
Yep.
They can't get rid of it. It's always a burden for them. It's always there.
Yep.
And much like some addicts, they don't want their loved ones to get involved or dragged into that nightmarish world either. And like you said, Mike, I think this is Dean's kind of like, how many times am I going to be pulled from hell, miraculously saved, brought back from purgatory and demon
raised from perdition?
How many times is that going to happen? Eventually there has to be an end to that. And I think honestly, we've seen him cope with this better than he has many other things. Bobby's death, he just started drinking. Castiel's death, same thing. Pseudo death, season 7. So when it comes to him, he's kind of like, you know what? What'll happen is going to happen.
Yeah. He kind of just, like you said, accepts it. You're raising your hand?
Well, because I don't want to interrupt.
Michael Forrest?
So what does this mean exactly to you guys? Meaning, because it seems like, and I guess that's just the way Carver does things. Kripke explained things very differently. Carver kind of just goes on to the next scene, but it's a little frustrating a little bit.
Yeah.
And because now we're just led to accept that Dean. So first we learned in a weird way that Kane still has the mark. That it's something you transfer rather than give. Okay.
Right. Like herpes.
Right. So stupid, but very, very good analogy. And then we learn again now that, so you have the mark and you are destined to go crazy now. You know what I mean? That
like
wasn't.
I don't think it's that necessarily.
But that's kind of what he's alluding to. Like, I want to do this until I can't anymore. Meaning he was accepting the fact that he's going to go nucular like Kane and just want to start. Did you guys get that?
No,
in that discussion, I got that he's going to end up being just like Kane. That he's going to want to kill the Kane bloodline.
But the thing is, Kane lived his entire life. There was a period there where he became a bee farmer and didn't kill anyone.
But what did he have to do? Did he become a bee farmer? Dean keeps on hunting. He keeps feeding it.
I mean, bee farming is not that lucrative, dude. At least this day and age.
My thing is, I didn't get the vibe that getting the mark would like kind of turn you insane, and then you
but
go
is
down
that what
that
he
route.
Said though?
I get it as that it's because we've said he's part of that same bloodline. It's a heralding of what might happen. It's destiny trying. In some ways, to me, it's destiny trying to recorrect the path that Sam and Dean derailed it from with the apocalypse.
You talked about this with me.
The fact that they can say, screw you, Michael and Lucifer, to hell with your paradise.
They fucked Destiny over.
They
so
killed
many times.
one of the fates in season 6.
Yeah.
You know, in some ways, I feel like the Cain bloodline, the mark of Cain, is somewhat of a way of the universe trying to correct itself.
Yeah.
But I also get that it's just kind of like, you know, Dean, you are very similar to Cain. And again, it comes to the drug thing. There's two paths that people can come. There's a fork in the road. You can either become Cain 2.0, kill everyone you've loved, you know, and Sam, and then go down in misery.
Yeah.
Or in some ways, you can kind of live with this burden. And because this is supernatural and not, you know, real life, it's probably going to go down the darker route. But I still don't feel that it's something like, oh, I'm just going to be ended up murdering somebody. That's just how fate is. I feel it's more that he accepts that he has to live with this. And ultimately, the decisions are going to be his.
Well, obviously, he has to live with it because it's going to end the show.
I'm baffled though by the only thing I'm kind of baffled by is, you know, supposedly he killed Cain, right? Like that's,
supposedly. I'm still not really sold on that.
It seems like everyone's saying it, so I'm saying I'm going to go with the fact that he might be dead at this point. But so okay, he killed him, right?
Sure.
Okay, and
allegedly,
and okay, all this. And we're supposed to believe that something's happening to him, but he looks better than he's ever looked.
That's something I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Do you think that's because he's satiating the mark, like he killed Cain? So remember last year he was getting contaminated by it, so he was looking sickly. He was looking worn out, and
he was
battle
looking like
battle
on roids.
What, last season? But don't you remember how his eyes looked, and we had this whole discussion about how he looked.
He looked
like,
sick.
Right. He looked sickly. Now this season he doesn't look that way.
Dude,
do you think it's because the whole mark has gone full circle and now it has him and now it's about just feeding it? And he has?
In the car, he looked like Dean.
He looks fine.
He
looks fine.
He looked like nothing had happened. I think.
Well, even after he killed Cain, he just looked depressed.
Hey, air quote it every time you say it, please.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be depressed?
I like how he believes that because he didn't see it, but he won't believe that Chuck is God.
I know. What the hell?
It, bro.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so you believe.
God damn it.
So you basically just contradicted your own line of thinking by that. I've been meaning to say that.
It's only real if it's what I want.
Yeah.
I want Cain to be alive. I don't care about Chuck.
Oh God, he will smite you.
Here he goes, dude. He doesn't care about Kevin. Doesn't care about Chuck.
Dude, I only care about the cool, badass characters like Cain.
I agree that last.
You agree?
Season,
Thank you.
No, you're always wrong, Ryan. You just need to accept that.
Finally,
no one agrees with you. No one. Lucifer agrees with you.
I want everyone that's listening that agrees with me to tweet me and
say, Ryan, you're dumb.
Yes, say, Ryan, you're dumb.
You heard it here.
Oh, fuck you.
So can you say, Ryan Denton?
Fuck you.
Please, Rob. Ryan Denton, I am God. Please say that.
Ryan Denton, I am God.
Fuck you, Chuck.
Screw your mic. There you go. Thank you, Mike, for that.
All right, pay Max a bitch.
Now, for me, I agree that in season 9 he looks haggard and he looks like he's jonesing for a fix, and now he seems to be kind of old school Dean, not really a problem. As far as storyline goes, I think there's something obviously waiting in the wings that they're going to show us.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this episode really touched on that because Carver's seasons and his episodes, some episodes will directly deal with what's happening. Other ones will just kind of be, here's this other story right now. And I felt like in a lot of ways that's what this was.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, at the same time, I just keep coming back to the drugs. The first time is he gets into this, he's addicted, he needs a fix.
I agree.
Then he has his whole demon period and rehab, and now he knows he has a problem, and he's doing his best to cope with it.
Or he's taking the, what's the heroin stuff you take when you're trying to get off heroin? Or he's taking methadone, basically by doing he's doing kills here and there that's keeping it at bay.
You know, I mean, Crowley even said that.
Yeah, that's what I got from it this season, is that I agree with you. I just think we're saying it two different ways, but yeah, I totally agree with that.
I also think the fact that he's not around the first blade helps.
Yes, that's a big thing.
That's a huge part of it. I mean, way back in season 9, before he got that, he was relatively okay. A little more violent, maybe, but not anything like he was once he got that. There was no Jumanji drums beating and him decapitating people before that point.
Nice. You know, nice.
Now, what did you guys think about Cole's whole bit?
Well, first of all, the way he shows up is
I
awesome.
love that, dude.
He's just there.
Well, you're such a military guy, Ryan. You love the military. So it makes sense for you to like Cole this much.
Did you like this episode a lot for all that stuff?
I did. Well,
Yes and no.
Yes and no, and I'll touch on that a little bit, like when we start talking about. But
well, that's now.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So being a person who is a supporter of the military and has friends who are in military, seeing a lot of the pictures, they actually did a decent job of making, because these guys are all supposed to be they're special ops, so they don't say what they're supposed to be, but they did a very good job of making all their pictures and things look like real
authentic special
ops operators, and which is pretty cool. I actually thought that was pretty neat. I thought the
is that condescending?
Apparently,
I don't
that's
know.
a little condescending. I mean, you could have like played Team America. I think that would have been a whole hell of a lot better. But whatever.
I'm just trying not to laugh.
I think with Cole, I think Travis has done a really good job of playing. I mean, because he was in the military, he's done a really good job of playing that role.
Right.
But as someone who is a supporter of all that stuff, I just started looking at the pictures and like nitpicking a little bit, and I had to kind of shut my brain off a little bit and remember that not everyone that worked on the show has been in the military or anything like that. But I definitely did like this episode for that. I think it was cool that they showed the what soldiers go through,
some of the PTSD elements,
PTSD stuff. That's what soldiers go through, and
well, Thomas was spot on with the inspiration for the story.
Yeah, the things
with
they
the
carried.
book. Yeah.
The I said that last time. The things they carried is a book about Vietnam.
Right.
Troops,
yeah.
Which it was a great title for this one, not only from the soldier standpoint, but also they carry a parasite. So
yeah, I mean that was a very cool thing, and I mean, well, you look at it too, and it wasn't.
I like that a lot.
It wasn't just about the soldier; it was about the home life,
when you come back,
life when you come back, and I thought that was really cool because you see the family, what the family has to deal with while the soldier's gone on deployment or whatever it is. So to come home from a
getting dick from a John, as they call it.
Yes. Anyways,
happens more than you know.
Okay. Anyways, I think it was cool to see that parallel also too in the world of Supernatural, where they have to deal with the fucking fact that the fact that hey, my husband just came home from killing people, and now he might kill me because he's got a parasite inside of him. Like, it was just, I thought that was cool to parallel that with them coming home from like a deployment.
One thing I thought that they did a really good job that was kind of subtle was along those lines, is that a lot of people don't realize how bad PTSD can be and what a lot of people go through. And the fact that in the beginning of this episode, they're like, yeah, they killed some people and then committed suicide. And these things are horrifying sounding to us. And as Sam and Dean fans, we know, okay, it's a monster. But the fact that everyone else in the town is like, that's just kind of military life sometimes.
Yeah, it's
the fact
dark,
that these people
dark.
can just not bat an eye at some of this, I think, is an interesting correlation to real life. And I also like the little bit about the VA. You got put on a list to get put on a list.
It's dude. I have a lot. Like I said, I have a lot of friends who are in the military, and they all joke about the VA, dude. Like, it's exactly that. You got to get on a list to get on a list. And I think what I love is that with Travis's character and the way he plays Cole, and the fact that he's had military experience, he plays the brotherhood very well.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that he does a great job with. And I think Cole in this episode showed that really well.
Well, all this did was make me, again, and I know I
beat on the drum again.
Yes, I mean, all this made me want to do or see is a Supernatural spinoff with Cole that has to do with the military.
Yeah.
Imagine if he got redeployed.
Dude, there's creatures in Iraq.
You can do shit in Afghanistan and some
Look
other.
at that worm. They find that.
He doesn't even need to be in the U.S. And in order to keep the tone of Supernatural, the tone of Supernatural is American, right?
Right. American Road Story.
It very much so is so. They can still keep the American tone with the military.
Well,
very much so.
You use
I mean, don't be insulting and be over patriotic
but you do
to the overseas fans, but you could still keep that
you use
tone.
You use the soldiers and the way they interact with each other to keep it.
Can you imagine what they can do with that? And would be completely different.
It wouldn't
different.
be about hunting. It would be about the crew and who he's with.
Yeah.
And then they just might so happen to have to do.
And it could be hunting. It could be something pertaining to hunting once he's out there. You know what I mean?
There's a new monster they just found in a different country.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
that
that'd be
alone
awesome.
could be ways in which they expand the world and
it was his father in the military.
I don't know. I don't remember.
They could tie that
But
into
this
being
is
his
how
father was deployed, and that's gonna go into that story when he goes back to go hunt down some monsters. God,
You know what?
awesome.
Though, when we first, hold on. When we first speculated what we think a Cole spinoff could be, I think you actually mentioned that you wanted it to be like Cole and his special ops group just going.
and he said that too. Didn't he say that too?
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
That was in the interview.
That was in the interview. Like,
that is so cool.
I mean,
dude.
can you imagine the type of stories they can tell that way? It would be uniquely different.
Now I'm excited, and it's not even real.
Well, dude, he's getting I'm calling it. He's getting a spinoff.
One thing that I liked about Cole that leads into this is some people were disappointed saying that what they did with him is showing that they're kind of closing him out. And
I disagree.
That they're kind of closing him out and that he's not going to be a hunter. And I said, I got quite the opposite. I got that they brought him back for a reason.
Yeah.
They didn't close out his story.
Right.
They didn't talk about the father being with the monster. I thought they were going to. They didn't solve it.
They talked very.
Yeah.
They brought it up.
Right.
Just
They brought
as
it
much
up briefly,
as they've done
but it
before.
wasn't. It wasn't brought up to close it out.
Right.
And what they did with him is very different than what we normally see. Now, if we would have saw some guy, just imagine this. We saw some guy, Cole, come back, and he's been hunting, and he's out for revenge. We've seen that 100 times.
Yeah.
Every single hunter has become a hunter because of that. They revenge. They jump in head first. They learn. He has done completely the opposite.
He says, "I have a family."
He's went back home. He rather be at home. He doesn't. He even said, "I'm way over my head." He says, "This is just a job for you guys. This is an average day." And he says, "Well, I just want to be at home," and that would make an interesting story for someone who does not want it, doesn't want it, but is pulled into it.
At the same time, that's what makes the best hunters. Look at Sam and Dean and their dad.
Yeah.
It's not something you went after for because you wanted it.
Yeah.
It's not something exactly you went after for revenge. Their dad, absolutely, but they kind of just got dragged into that life.
Yeah.
The first 5 seasons is how they don't want this life, especially Sam.
I really, really like that he just doesn't. He doesn't really want to be a part of that.
Look,
and I like it.
Calling it right here. The spinoff is gonna be Cole.
I think they could do it. I liked how
it's gonna be, dude.
There's enough Cole lovers
enough
out there, but there's a lot of Cole hate too, man.
But there's a lot of content there.
Yeah, but
see why.
Well, dude, look, if there's hate,
His intro is attacking Sam and
There's
Dean.
hate on Castiel.
Well, that's true.
I mean, come on. If there's hate on Castiel,
This
you're
blows
going to
my
have
mind.
hate
This
on
blows my
Cole.
mind. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
My thing that I liked about, because touching on the whole, he's not exactly the same as every other hunter. I liked how, despite what he's known and with demons, he's still very new at this whole gig. He doesn't. He's like, well, he still has humanity. He's like, we don't have to shoot him. You know, there's other ways
Sam
around
and Dean
this.
are like, look,
Sam
brother.
and Dean are so jaded and callous to the fact that it's like, yeah, so we'll just put 2 in them and go for lunch.
We'll go to get some burgers. Right?
And that's another thing that you bringing that up, Thomas, is that I really liked about his character is he was
a human still.
He was a human still, but also there was a part of him. I like that he wasn't an ass kisser. Like, we see a lot of people really chum up to Sam and Dean, and they love
He's not
him.
trying to be their friend.
You have Kim Rhodes, you have Buckmaster. Even though I like them, they've accepted them. They're like, oh, I love you guys. He's kind of like not afraid.
He makes fun of them, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that
Dino and Sammy Boy.
Yeah, I kind of like how they played that he respected them, but they're still not buddies. They're not friends.
Well,
they're
here's the
not
thing.
friends. And I like that.
That goes back to him playing the military type person, because in any military unit, especially special ops units.
How about the G unit? That one too?
Yes, G unit. Yes, where they spin their spinner fucking pieces.
Spin their spinner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude.
I wanted to get the terms right.
Get it right, motherfucker. In any type of those teams or whatever you're in, that's how the brotherhood is. It's I respect the shit out of you, and I respect the fact that I know that you are gonna have my back. But when we're not doing something, I'm not going to show you that respect. And I think that's why I think him playing that character is so great, is because he plays that military guy, that ex-military guy, very, very well.
Again, the biggest thing to me is just that he has the most potential of any character that's currently in the show.
He does. That's why I seriously, I'm 100%.
He doesn't want to be a hunter. He has a family. He's got the training for the whole thing. He's not exactly a loner, but he's not a team player at the same time. There's a lot of things he can learn still. There's a lot of, who's his dad? What the hell's that about?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
And that's definitely something that I really liked about what they did with him, because they could have brought him back and they could have made him be like all chummy and friendly. And some things that I was reading, some reviews were saying that he was stale and kind of like what was the wording they used? He was kind of...
I don't know. I didn't read it.
He was in a box, his character. Like, he didn't have a lot of emotion like they saw in the original arc. And I said, well,
He's not trying to murder someone
right,
now.
that original arc was very emotional for him. Now he's playing a guy that's kind of out of his element.
It's a Tuesday.
And he doesn't know what he's doing with these guys. He's trying to save his friend's life because he still hasn't truly accepted what the world really is. And I think he was playing kind of a quieter version of what we saw because he's out of his element.
He even says you haven't seen me nice. You haven't seen happy versions of Cole. You've only seen murderous and now kind of like normal version.
I thought it was perfect what they did with him.
You know what I loved,
and it was a good way to bring him in because of the military.
Exactly,
it was one of the smartest ways to bring him in.
It made sense.
Yeah,
I laughed way too much when I looked at the show notes and it said, "Look at Cole using a cell phone." Oh man, that really got me.
That's the first thing I started. Like, look at him.
Whoa!
I half expected him to like just take a carrier pigeon out of his pocket and like throw it into the wind.
Fly, you fools!
Yeah, some old smoke signals. Contact my buddy here.
A rotary phone with like an ear and mouthpiece.
Operator.
Can you connect me to Dean Winchester?
Oh, man.
One thing I loved about his acting in this episode, though, was when he's infected with the worm and he's talking about how he wants to...
How good?
Dude, he would make an amazing villain. Holy crap. When he's smiling like the Joker.
I just want to slit you and drink you dry. I was like... Oh.
Dude, as I was watching that, I'm like, fuck, dude.
That was dark as fuck, dude.
And again, this episode was a darker one than it had been in a long time. I really liked that aspect. And I thought, I just thought Cole was
talk about good acting. Talk about good acting. Some people are saying that he wasn't as good, but like that transformation from I'm out of my element to an eviler version of him was very believable.
Dude, the scene where he's getting zapped, dude.
He's a beast.
Dude, I was like, holy shit.
Bro. I'm like, just give me some water, bro. I'm good.
Give me some water.
I just be like, all right, just shoot me.
Don't tase me, bro.
Don't tase me, bro. He conks out and then he comes back too and he's like, more. Again.
Dude.
Dude, 50 Shades of Cole.
Oh, my God. He's so...
I got electrocuted once plugging in Christmas lights in the rain, and I'm not about to sign up for that again.
I can totally see Thomas. I would pay good money to see Thomas.
Dude, right? I was like, no. After watching that again and again, dude, that was hardcore.
Wouldn't you pay money to see that, dude?
You probably should.
Said, hey, can you give me $50 and I'll make
zap the fuck out of him.
No, I don't want someone to see a zap him. I want to be a fly on the wall to actually witness like the sheer shock in his eyes. Like, what's happening?
It's not fun.
I've been electrocuted too with like an open socket.
Yeah,
and you really don't know what's going on.
It wasn't anything major too. It was just a solid jolt.
You really don't know what's happening for a moment. You're just like,
the fuck, just
it feels weird and it hurts like a mother.
And you're like, oh, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and I put it on my penis.
Electroshock your dick, huh? I mean, I guess if it's so small, that's one way to get it
Shock
bigger.
therapy.
Shock therapy on your penis.
The Nazis tried it.
Oh,
is that why Hitler killed himself?
Nazis. Please experiment on the Jews with that.
Now,
I make your penis bigger, yes.
Oh, God. That's the new level of hell that we're about to go to. Jesus.
I help you circumcise, yes?
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Jesus.
Okay. Now, one thing...
you have a lot of money, right?
Thomas doesn't... You just got to give credit to Thomas as a host, because the fact he could segue to stupidity, like from stupidity, is a talent all in itself.
I mean, Lou Ferrigno hasn't even come out yet, so...
Oh, God. Let's keep him in the cage right now. Don't call him. It's not like he'd hear.
Dude. Oh, that was good.
Now, what did you guys think about... And I know Mike at least picked up on this because he's in this. It's in his notes, and I wrote that down too. But what did you guys think about the fact that the parallels with Dean talking to Cole about giving up and life, and especially after him talking to Sam earlier in that episode.
I liked it better this episode than the previous episode for the fact that it wasn't heavy-handed. I actually had to think about it.
Which previous episode are you talking about?
The one with the haunted phone, the electrical device, like with the woman. It was kind of heavy-handed, like, oh, listen, sister, we've all been there, whatever. I like this one a little bit. It was a little more subtle, dealing. Cole,
it was more natural.
Cole dealing. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it made
Cole
sense.
dealing with the monster within. Should he give up or should he fight? It was a lot. It wasn't subtle when I say it that way, but for the casual viewer not looking for things, it was
more so than the elect.
I think Ryan hit it. It's more natural.
It was more natural. It was a more natural delivery of it, and the whole thing. Because it's Cole who has a more personal relationship with Dean. Because
what's up with Dean getting all the personal relationships with men? I'm being serious. Like, do you realize poor Sam has no friends, dude?
Sam's like, well, he goes on his Facebook and he's like, hey, I got a friend request today.
Yeah.
You know why? Every time he makes friends, he or Dean kills them.
That's true. I mean, Sam has a dog, and then a woman that was married. That lied to him.
They died.
That one monster friend, Dean stabbed.
Yeah.
Now what a dick. I think
Ruby screwed him entirely.
Well, here's why Dean gets the bro mances or whatever you want to call them. The bro dude mances. I think because he is the quintessential man when it comes to guys can relate to Dean a whole hell of a lot more than they do Sam. Not that I'm saying Sam isn't a guy or anything.
No, I get what you're saying. That makes sense.
I think with Cole, there's a parallel there with Cole because there for a while, Dean was all about revenge and all these things. And you look at Cole and you look at this character who essentially looks like Dean very much. They're very similar, other than the fact that Travis is a little shorter than Jensen. But you look at it and it's a parallel between the two characters. And I think that's why that scene was a whole lot more believable and more, like I said, more natural. Is because there's a relationship there with Cole and Dean where they, they're more friendly, I guess. Whereas with him talking to the chick the last episode, it just didn't make sense. It was just like, you don't know this chick. Why are you pretending like you guys are best friends?
One thing,
so you're saying Dean has better chemistry with men than women.
You're setting me up there. I like that.
My argument would be,
oh, cool. I won't respond to that.
You don't want to, it.
No, I really do, actually.
Go ahead. Why? Talk about it. All right, so Ryan's checked out.
No, anyways, I think, yes, you're setting me up there, and I know where you're going with that. And I think I'm actually going to relate it to myself. I have buddies who I consider my really good friends who I could call right now and they'd give me their shirt off their back. And I think Dean.
Is that the first step in the night?
Yeah, and then they suck my dick. No, what I'm saying is that I think with Dean, because he is the quintessential man, as it per se, he has friends or makes friends with guys who are like him, and they become good friends. And I think if this relationship with Cole, or friendship or whatever you want to call it, someone heavy breathing. Here's someone heavy breathing. I feel like if it pans out, they could be like best friends. And I think that
what the hell?
Jesus Christ.
That would be good for a story.
Guys moaning. I think personally that's how I am.
What I see it being is that Sam is a better adjusted human being. In real life, when he's talking to people out and about, and when Dean's not there, Sam works just fine. He meets a new girl. He talks to people all the time.
He meets a dog.
Dean, on the other hand, when it's just him, there is no just him. He's always going to find Sam, but he only ever connects with people who are either A, monsters, or B, fucked up in their own right. Because Dean himself is messed up. He can relate to these people, and he's only ever talking to them in situations that are both life and at risk, or just the two of them talking. He doesn't do well in regular society. Sam does.
So what you're saying is Sam has 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
God damn, you waited that long for that.
He was trying to interrupt you for that one.
He was trying to get it in there
I
for
wanted
that
one so bad. God damn it.
No, but I mean, that's what I feel like it is. Dean doesn't talk about his problems. He only can ever relate to other people who are just as fucked up as him. Meanwhile, Sam can go on and live a normal life.
Yeah, I think again that goes back to early episodes where Sam didn't want this life, and I think that's why Sam hasn't completely let go like Dean has, because this is all Dean knows.
Exactly,
and I think, like you said, he relates to these guys, whoever it is, and it just happens to be guys, which is weird.
I wonder why.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't have to be weird, Ryan.
It's not weird. Why are you trying to catch me?
Because you're gonna trip so hard into one of these pitfalls.
Look, I think we all have heard my how I feel about those said things. Okay.
All right. Hey, we should move on though.
Yeah, we absolutely should, because you're trying to fuck me up, and I don't appreciate it. Fuckface.
You could just not answer the question.
I want to answer the question because
he's like the client, the lawyer client, or the lawyer tells him not to say a word, but he keeps I gotta say what I want. I gotta say.
I know what I'm talking about.
And then he fucks himself in court.
I didn't say anything.
It's not
I meant to kill her. She deserved it.
I didn't say
Here's
anything.
Here's what you understand.
Ignorant.
She was a bitch.
I didn't say anything ignorant, and I wasn't gonna say anything ignorant.
Ignorant.
Oh, you guys so ignorant. Stop being so ignorant.
All right, so we got to move on.
Last couple things I do have a couple bitch moments that I want to bring up, only because it reminded me of that episode with the Wi-Fi thing. Just like that woman, what is it?
The Wi-Fi thing.
The Wi-Fi episode.
Yeah.
What is it with some of these women just being like, "Honey, you're horribly disfigured. This is apparently normal," because she sees him.
Dude, he's
him.
He's a soldier.
Listen,
dude. No, like
there's some people in life, Thomas, that don't care what other people look like.
Right, I know. But there's the version you saw, and then these people.
Look, dude. As a person who, as someone who has friends in the military, you as a family member or a spouse, you come to the realization that your spouse could be disfigured.
It's not that at all. I'm totally not talking about that.
What are you trying to talk about?
While she's dicking John.
When he gets right back, Kip and this other guy, was it Roger or Rick?
I know, that bothered me too.
They look normal. Then all of a sudden, their skin is so dry, they're bleeding. He looks like something from Hellraiser, and she sees him in the house after destroying the flowers, and she's like, "What?" She says, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Bitch, look at him."
He should say that.
He
Look
looks
at
like
me. I can't stop drinking, and I want to drink blood,
and I want to fuck you.
And she's not fazed by this at all. She just seemed that. This is my one gripe about writing in this episode. She seemed very dumb. It takes like a half hour for Sam to explain.
Jenny Klein doesn't like women,
and she's like, "Wait, so you're a hunter?" She's like, "You're a hunter, and what's happening?" I'm like, "Okay, your husband looks like he went through a threshing machine."
Yeah.
And you're really asking, and this guy you saw an alien leech out of his mouth, and you're kind of having a hard time buying what this guy who saved your life is saying.
Creature, it's not an alien.
Well, that's my whole beef with a lot of TV shows, where like, it's a vampire and you don't believe it. It's right in front of you. The guy said, "I'm a vampire. He's eating blood," and you're still not believing it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I hate
don't they
that.
usually have caves?
Well, obviously, dude, she didn't believe it because he didn't sparkle.
So stupid. I agree, but that's an epidemic right now in a lot of TV shows where it's I had this whole discussion on Rain Man about what's that show on AMC Del Toro did? Not AMC, FX.
The Strain.
The Strain. I had the whole issue with The Strain. I'm like, I can't believe this. I'm like, you can't believe it. It's happening in front of you. Hundreds of people. And there's a doubt.
Exactly.
Like, that's frustrating. And you see that a lot. That's a new thing now you see in TV.
Exactly. It's just, it feels like shorthand. Because even at the gas station, you're like, okay,
they're trying to create dramatic elements.
He slit that guy's throat with a bottle. I better take my time calling 911. That was like the most lackadaisical freak out.
I would have been on the phone with 911.
Wouldn't you be just screaming like "fuck" the whole time and running out of there?
No, I would have pulled my 9mm out.
Now, one lore question I do have is when Sam shot Kip, does that kill all the parasites in him? Or can they move on?
Well, it might
because
have been,
the con worm, couldn't that move from a dead body?
Yeah,
because it reanimated
that's why I'm thinking
Sam.
It's not the con worm.
Well, the thing is, I think, does it attach itself to the brain?
Well, the con
if he
worm
shot the
did.
brain in the head.
I don't know.
Die, right?
Well, in season 6, Samuel's dead.
I did say that.
Samuel's dead, and the thing reanimates him.
Yeah,
that's right.
So with this one, I was waiting.
It's
I'm like, it's got to be something different. At least like a like I said, more primal, earlier version, maybe like her prototype.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Prototype.
Something happened, but that is a curious question.
I agree, and I'm leaning to the fact that based on what you just said, I'm leaning to the fact that it wasn't the con worm.
I don't know if it is
something new.
But coming to the last thing of this
we
episode,
call it the human centipede worm.
The human centipede worm.
What it looks like.
The last thing I wanted to touch on for this episode, guys, was anyone else surprised by how just like calm Dean was after murdering, or not murdering, but just like you killed Kane an episode ago.
That's what I write in the show notes.
He's dead, dude.
We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but
yes, it bothered me a lot.
He's going from fist shaking when he's beating up Charlie to fighting the father of a murder, and he's just kind of like,
Why he's not dead, dude?
But
if that is the case, why is he so calm about everything?
I'm basing on Jeremy Carver's track record. He's going to answer that question in 3 or 4 episodes and just drop it on us.
That's true.
So, but yes, that did irk me a little bit because I would have figured, listen, we haven't seen them. We haven't seen
shocked,
the last episode we saw was him annihilating Kane and his big issue, and everything's good. Listen, it rocked the world so much
needed
to
more.
where Sam had to say to Cass in his puppy dog face, "Something's wrong with my brother."
Well,
okay, it took for them. They drove home that scene. That's how the episode ended, and then all of a sudden we're here, and
we're not touching on it.
And briefly with the whole him looking up on the internet,
though.
But something has. We need to see something with Dean. I would think something,
some reaction on his part.
I fully expected him to be like, in his room in the corner, like.
Yes,
shaking,
something.
Since coming down those barnyard steps, he has been way too calm. He's been he's been just like Dean that we know.
Maybe he didn't kill him. Maybe that's why he's okay.
He's been too calm. Maybe.
He's been very calm, dude.
So with that, guys, let's get into grading scale. Ryan, you want to go first? You had the whole military love fetish, so.
Fetish now. All right.
Travis, you like it a lot, don't
if you're listening, into fetishes. No, dude, I think, and I touched on it earlier, but this episode, for me, being a supporter and someone who has multiple friends who are in the military, it was cool to see them actually do their homework and do their research on specific things. And I think Travis's acting in this episode was so good. He played, because he has been a military, he has a military background, he was a Marine. Him being able to play that character was pretty impressive, dude. And just to watch him switch from good Cole to bad Cole to back to good Cole to being electrocuted, and I literally believe that he was being electrocuted. That's how good that was pretty impressive. The parallels between Cole's character and Dean I'm glad they touched on that more. I'm also glad that they also touched on like you said, where they touched on the whole PTSD thing, and
right?
And the home life of them coming home after something like that was really cool for them to do that, because it is very dark.
Absolutely,
the whole tone of this episode was dark. It really did seem like a 1 through 5 episode, season 1 through 5 episode, especially just the opener. I really enjoyed the monster creature. It was gross, and it's about time we got back to something fucked up and gross like that. I would say overall, if I had to grade the episode, because I really did like this episode, there were a few things that I thought were kind of goofy, but otherwise I would have to give it at least a solid B+, almost an A. Again, Travis's acting was the best part of this entire episode.
Okay, Mike, what about you?
I think it was nice to see an episode that brought back the darkness from season 1, and I truly think that Carver, I don't know if someone smacked him around, if he listened to social media or what. No, I think Carver
I have this visual of someone just backhanding someone in the office.
Well, Carver, it's called the Kripke slap. Keep people in mind.
The
Kripke slap.
That is awesome.
Carver has been delivering more horror-ish episodes this season.
Yes, he
it
really
seems
has.
like there's been more this season than there was the previous seasons he's done. It could be just because it's newer to me and I can remember them more, but I think they have been pretty based on.
There's been a couple of really dark scenes.
Yeah, and this episode in particular really brought it back. You know, it had the good sense of humor that makes Supernatural funny, but the horror scenes were horror scenes. And that opening teaser, and I always say this about opening scenes in movies and teasers, they're always important. And that teaser delivered, it felt like an episode of X-Files-ish at some points. And if you have one great executed beginning, it really helps deliver and push the tone through the rest of the episode. Even that video that Cole was watching on his phone was just sinister and just something about the night vision. It was night vision, right?
Yeah,
something about the night vision and just not being able to make out totally what was going on. I think Jenny Klein did a great job writing it. She did a really good job writing the episode. She obviously has a handle on the B fiction, the B horror fiction, as well as some of the classic alien sci-fi. I think it was a B plus episode. The writing was there, directing was there. It was for most part, it was a little bit of a filler episode, but it was filler with some interesting
filler with some cool stuff.
Yeah, because we got to see Cole and the return of Cole, and I think some people were disappointed with Cole with this episode, saying, what happened? And I'm like, well, listen, you're coming off of an awesome story arc that we had of Cole that was just epic. It was a 3-episode story arc that was just so good. And now you're coming back and you're kind of seeing him now as someone more...
You're seeing a different Cole.
He comes out the gate at a 10. Now we're down to like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same high-octane level.
Yeah. And I'm going to call it now. He's the spinoff. He's the spinoff.
I think
I'm calling it.
I already did that.
Yeah.
So B plus as well.
B plus.
So we're all in accordance that we all think that he's.
We think he's going to be the spinoff.
He's the spinoff.
He
has to be.
His
right?
popularity on the internet is through the roof.
The popularity, the potential,
which is
the
important, dude, to CW.
Yeah.
He is going to be 40 by the time they do this.
Don't tell them that.
So I'm guessing.
I don't see that.
Because CW doesn't want to put older cast, but look what they're doing with Brandon Routh. Brandon Routh is an older man,
fucking awesome in that
and
show,
he's going to be the new lead in the new spinoff.
Yeah,
but look what they're doing with him. They're filling him up with it. They're filling him up. They're filling that episode up with an ensemble cast, and I can see them doing that. Like, hey, we have Cole, he's the lead, but then we're going to
these other people.
20-something-year-olds to pacify the CW demographic.
Right.
So yeah, I'm calling it.
All right. I agree with you guys in a lot of ways with this one. I thought that the writing was very dark. I love that stuff. That's what got me into the show in the very beginning.
I think that's what got all of us.
I loved the reveal scene of the monster. It creeped me right the hell out. The body horror was great.
So gross.
Like Mike said, very great understanding of B horror movies, and very well executed. The jokes were there. I loved that too. My only gripe with the whole thing would have been wanting to see or hear more about Kane and like we said, the aftermath of having killed, quote, the father of murder, or Dean's reaction and how big a point they made that a month ago. And then to not really touch on that at all did irk me, but I understand that's just kind of how TV does stuff sometimes. But overall, it was a filling filler episode, all things considered. And I loved the visuals at the beginning, and
there were
some really great scenes with this episode.
This was definitely a cinematic episode.
Exactly. The opening,
the way it was shot, absolutely. Dude. The opening scene,
even the lighting is from season 1.
The opening scene could have been from a movie, like a blockbuster. That's how good I thought it was.
The Crazies, that movie. If you remember that.
it could have been something.
Oh yeah,
super good like that. And I thought,
and even the stuff off screen was really dark. The guy lit himself on fire. One thing I just picked up on while we were here doing the recap, essentially, was, do you guys remember in the very beginnings, like previously on kind of section, all the little bits of, I don't know, what is it, I don't know? I think that leads directly into this worm thing, and I have a feeling this is going to come back later.
Maybe and pertain more to Cole.
I mean, pretty much like herpes.
Just like herpes, it flares up again later. So I would agree with you guys. I'd give this one a solid B+. Great acting. Loved Cole. Loved how he could have just been a villain at any point. He was so good in that scene.
Are they kind of knocking out the filler episodes this year? They're kind of knocking them out.
They're much more enjoyable.
The last 5 episodes are going to be intense as fuck.
It better be.
It have to be,
Dude,
right?
Can we name this worm the herpes worm?
You want to do our own call?
Yeah, it's called herpes worm, dude.
All right.
If it comes back, it's definitely the
If
herpes worm.
it needs to come back. It can't be a one and done. Then it's like the chlamydia worm.
Oh.
All right, guys. With that, we're going to take a break.
If you having girl problems, I forgot you, son. I got 99
Talk about the upcoming episode, Paint It Black, in just a minute.
patrol on the cat patrol. Foes that want to make sure my casket's closed. Rap critics that saves money, cash holes. I'm from the hood, stupid. What type?
Don't go nowhere. Supernatural, The Crossroads will be right back.
Fastest selling paper book of all time. And the book's erotic content is...
And that's just not right, because it should be the good Lord's book should be
the Bible.
The fastest selling book in the world should be the Bible, not this smut, Tony.
He's basically trying to compare and associate everything to the Bible. The bottom line is he was titillated after reading 50 Shades of Grey. You could hear in his voice.
Great.
Well, I think he
It's a mommy
understands it.
porn. I wish they would start reading this at mass. So I can go full mass, if you get my meaning, young boys. 50 Shades of Boys is what I want them
For whatever
to read.
reason, I'm picturing.
50 Shades
I'm not
of
picturing.
Boys.
I'm not picturing Pat Robertson anymore. I'm
50
picturing.
Shades of Assholes.
I'm picturing Emperor
50
Palpatine.
Shades.
Oh, jeez.
Unlimited power. Oh. Young Eddie. They tried the Jedi. I tried to take over.
The Rain Man Show. Every week on Rain Man Digital. Go to rainmanwashere.com for more details.
This is Crossroads 003.
Projects! Cause they know that I can rock. Cause they know that I can rock. Cause they know that I can fight. Cause they know that I'm on top.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Supernatural, The Crossroads. Now we're going to be talking about the upcoming episode 16, Paint It Black. Ryan, can you give us a synopsis on this one?
Absolutely. Rowena makes plans to reclaim her magic. Sam and Dean investigate a string of suicides committed by people with little in common other than the identical grisly method of death: slow, self-administrated disembowelment. All the victims were members of a... is this part of the synopsis?
Yeah.
Okay. All the victims were members of a Catholic church and had recently given confession, leading the brothers to suspect the priest is somehow involved. Meanwhile, when Crowley captures Olivet, the leader of the Grand Coven, Rowena pleads her case to be allowed to practice magic freely again. John Showalter directed this episode, and Brad Buckner and Eugene Ross Lemming wrote it.
Okay. So we might see we get to see some Coven stuff finally.
This sounds really awesome.
And I think there's a hot nun, too.
Shut up.
In this.
Is
yeah
a hot nun or the
no
hot
a hot nun?
witch?
No, a hot nun. I think there's a hot nun. It's very fetishy. So that's all I remember from the preview.
That's what you picked up on.
Doesn't want a hot nun?
Well, look how Abaddon was hot in the nun outfit. Wasn't she wearing a nun outfit?
She
right?
did at one point. That's just weird to me.
No, that's hot.
Maybe maybe that's
That's a
my
fetish
Irish
for me, dude.
Catholic
Really?
part just coming out and being like, this is blasphemy.
Wait, did you pause it and you were just like,
No, dude.
Don't lie.
It takes more than that for me to get going, dude. I can't I'm jaded, dude.
But Mike, what do you
I need to be shocked like Cole was. At this point in my life, dude.
But Mike, what do you think?
Oh, stupid. I think you're hot.
I want to put my penis in you.
I'm just looking forward to seeing the Grand Coven. At least somebody from it.
Yeah,
somebody
Olivet.
related to it, even.
Olivet. She's probably hot.
And this will have been over a month since we haven't seen Crowley. I mean, only one episode for everyone who watches it on Netflix.
Dude, hold on, I gotta stop you. He's all like, okay, hold on. Ryan's all like, he's reading the name of the actress playing the nun, and he's all, she's got to be hot. And everyone at home,
I know.
we have shared show notes, meaning everything you do on one computer,
You can see what I'm doing.
I can see what he's doing.
So I actually see if he's highlighting it and copying her name, and he's searching it.
Oh my god.
That's the best thing.
I can see what he Googles on this computer because I'm behind it.
Dude, he sees everything.
I see half the shit I've seen.
I just love that I'm talking, and you're talking, and I see
Just
her
like
name,
creeping around.
I see her name being highlighted on the show notes.
Just get Alt Tab real quick, incognito.
Oh my god, that is probably the funniest thing ever. Oh Jesus!
I was wondering if you guys saw that. I was like,
of course, I can see it.
I don't think you do, dude. I think you.
No,
did
I absolutely know that you can see me doing that. Give a shit. Why do I care?
I love it.
Of course, I'm gonna look. I want to see if she's hot.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ryan or Thomas. Go ahead.
No, you're good, dude. I'm just mostly excited to see someone from the Grand Coven finally, like somebody shows up with this.
Well, I wonder if they're gonna make her look like because I think Grand Coven. I think old gross witches. Like
I don't think they're gonna go down that route.
You don't think it's gonna be like old gross nasty?
Rowena's
like,
old, and she was part of like theoretically because she's what 200, 300 years old.
Yeah.
She was part of the coven beforehand, maybe not a leader necessarily, but I don't see. And we saw what was it from season 7? That episode you hate, Dr. Phil, with the Buffy guest stars,
and they were really powerful.
They were much younger too.
They were very powerful. Probably one of the most powerful witches we've seen.
So far, yeah.
Now these Grand Coven witches,
they've got to be better.
They have a lot to live up to because of that hype.
They better be fucking Harry Potter, dude.
Yeah, because the fact that we've never heard of Grand Coven, and and as soon as you heard that, I remember at the very, very beginning of the year, we're like, "Holy shit,
that's awesome!"
They're gonna be badass.
So they need to deliver with this Grand Coven.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now, do you guys think this will be a major reveal of the coven, or just one person from it showing up?
I'm thinking
it's going to be one person.
I'm thinking Sam and Dean will finally get a clue as to what this Grand Coven really is.
I think they have to.
Yeah. Yes, we're closing on what? Episode 16? What?
Yeah.
How many more episodes are there? 8?
It's either 22 or 24.
So we're maybe 7 or 8 more episodes.
We're getting close, dude.
Yeah, they're going to need to know.
They need to know, and they need to definitely give them a greater spectrum of what the coven is. I think what is interesting with the Grand Coven is, like you said, we've only got 8 episodes left. So they're either going to push it off to the next season, or they're going to... I really hope that it doesn't get wrapped up super fast. To give it all this hype
like
they're
Eve
giving,
again?
Yeah. I really hope that it doesn't get that.
Well, going by Carver's track record, I have a feeling that it will be wrapped up.
You can't... Here's what's going to piss me off about that. Is you call something the Grand Coven. The Grand Coven.
Mm-hmm.
And you do all this emphasis on Rowena. And you make this huge deal about this, and then if that happens,
listen, if they wrap it up and they gave us 7 episodes of awesomeness, then I'm cool with that.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Here's the thing, Carver,
but I have a feeling they won't. Though.
Sadly, I don't think they will either. Carver, though, has at least given us a okay amount of content for these things that we all feel wrap up too early.
Right.
Meanwhile, if we look at what Gamble did with Eve, that was like 1 episode she was in. And then they completely switched gears to Crowley and Cass, and then completely switches gears with the season premiere to Leviathans. So, I mean, if we can do at least more than 1 episode, I think that'll be good. Although I don't like saying that the bar is that low necessarily.
Well, there's got to be some way to give us a finale with some keyword finale.
Yeah,
and that's either going to be the Grand Coven or it's going to be the Mark of Cain.
Those
are the two.
Has to be.
And I don't see them doing it with the Mark of Cain.
It's not the Mark.
No.
I see the Grand Coven either now the finale can also be a not a finish, meaning a cliffhanger episode, much like
they usually
like with
season
the epic Carver finale, the
season 8.
With the angels
such
falling.
A good scene.
It could be like season 1. That was a cliffhanger.
That was one of the best cliffhangers, dude.
So, I mean,
swear to God.
if you were to do that and give us a nice finish, but also a cliffhanger with the Grand Coven, I'm cool with that too.
With it, dude.
Yeah.
Look,
they're not wrapping up Mark of Cain this year.
No. Dude, that's going to end the series. I'm calling it. Dude.
I agree. I think season 15, but it's going to be dragging out for a few years.
Yeah, hopefully, let's hope. They're going to get. I'm hoping that they give us 7 or 8 episodes of just pure awesomeness.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Although their past hasn't shown that, but I mean, we'll see. Although we were talking about this earlier, this season has been a little darker. Some of the things, self-administered disembowelment.
So harakiri, right?
Yeah,
that's what that's called, right?
Seppuku as well. Same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you, Mike. I know you've seen it, but have you seen 7, Ryan? Greed, the pound of flesh, death. Oh, That's all I can imagine with this. I very much doubt they'll show.
Just the fact that they put Grizzly is such a gross word.
Good word. Good adjective.
Self-administered disembowelment.
And slow, too. That's a distinct word.
Yes. That's pretty fucked up.
And it has to do with the church. Now, that I'm interested in because we haven't really touched on the church outside of Michael, Lucifer, season 4, 5.
Do you think the church is just going to be a plot device, or do you think it's going to be like a prop, I should say, or do you think it's going to be an actual tie-in somehow into the main storyline?
I see it being a prop / like you said, a plot device to get things moving.
Yeah.
I would love it if it had to do
some connection
with
biblically,
angel biblical stuff, Mark of Cain's biblical, something going along with that.
What if they tie in the Grand Coven to the Mark of Cain? We haven't said that before. Have we said that before?
I don't know.
I don't know.
How do you tie that?
But
listen, the witches have been around.
Demons?
They predate Christianity. Okay,
paganism. Yeah.
Paganism. They would know.
That's a fair point.
They would know the Mark of Cain, would they not? Paganism has been around since the dawn of time.
I don't know if they would know the Mark of Cain because it is a Christian symbolism.
But listen, paganism has been around forever, and paganism goes hand in hand with Christianity in
the
many
real
ways.
world. But does it in this world?
That's what I'm saying. They could do it, and it could be fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I feel like
wouldn't you be happier with less like shoot-offs?
I would.
Storylines.
No, I like to shoot
rather
off.
than bringing it. He likes to shoot ropes rather than bring back together.
I like it nice and tight. That's all.
There's Thomas.
Exactly. I agree, Mike. I think my biggest thing is, can they do it? Can they give us a well-knit storyline that mixes the Coven and all the Mark of Cain and everything together into one?
I don't think that those two go together.
Can they pull
really
a Kripke?
does, though, dude.
Well, but in the world of Supernatural, it doesn't go together.
Only because we haven't seen it. Okay,
that's also true.
It would make sense though, and it wouldn't be jumping the shark if they tied in paganistic rituals into Christianity, which do in the real world go hand in hand. I think it would make sense.
I just look at
on so many levels.
I look at a character like Cain, who's not dead and will come back.
Look at this guy.
I see a character like that coming up to a witch and being like, "What are you to me?" Like I don't.
But witches have been around.
Witches put down the Leviathan. Do you remember that? Leviathan I can probably certain they can take out Cain.
Whoa!
Crowley and all of hell never stepped against the Leviathans. Not
look
once.
At the angels, man. Like that, they were done.
Angels, who we thought were the most powerful things.
I don't know.
Gone
Dude.
in a second.
Cain, bro.
Okay, Dick versus Cain. Who will win?
Cain wins.
Cain,
Cain
cooler.
wins, bro. Come on.
But there is an argument to be said there that we don't know what power levels the Grand Coven have. We've seen
it's like Dragon Ball Z, dude. They all
over
have power levels.
9,000.
Over 9,000.
We've seen that witches can trump Leviathans, but cannot kill them.
Yeah.
But we don't know what the Grand Coven's capable of.
This
we don't
is
know
like
how
a
long
bigger
they've been
version of like rock paper scissors,
right? Now,
at a much bigger spectrum.
Yes.
I fear that they will either A, just do offshoot stuff, or B, they won't take it to that kind of level. Could they? Yes.
I think it would be better.
I think it would be better, but I don't see them pulling a Kripke.
Rather than having all these things that stick to the wall as Carver wanted to do,
right.
What if he decided to connect all these things that he threw at the wall?
Well, that would be the big home
genius.
run that he needed for season 10. If he had an arc that was all this stuff comes together at the end.
That'd be good.
Because that's what Kripke did. All the stuff that mattered from season 1, 2, 3, all mattered at the season finale of episode 5.
Yep.
Could he do it? I think he could.
I call that J.K. Rowling.
Hold on. Number one, why bring Rowena and build this much up on her to have her done in one season? Have her be tied into the major story arc that ends the entire show.
I think they. That's such potential, but I'm afraid.
Listen, I'm calling it. That's her purpose. Okay. Yes, her purpose is also to help with the personal touch of this season with Crowley
and be hot,
and it gives him, now that he's actually on the title credits, it gives him more to do. Yes,
right.
But also, you have Rowena brought in, you have Cole brought in. Rowena was brought in, I think, for a much bigger story than we've seen so far. Cole has been brought in to try him out in the waters for the spinoff.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's the only reason you would introduce that.
Why
kind of
would you
character.
bring in this guy? Think about he has no point. There's absolutely no reason.
He has no connection. His story is all his own, except for the fact that it was barely tied to Dean.
And it does nothing for Dean. And it does nothing to the Winchesters.
Remember that day.
His storyline was only there to try him out as saying, do people like this guy or not? That is it.
Yep.
There is no reason for, because you take him out of every single episode he's been in, and guess what? The episode still stands. They really do.
Pretty much.
So I'm going back to what the writers have in plan. I think they have purpose for Rowena and have purpose for Cole. And that's what it is. I'm sticking to it.
Time will tell. Now I'm really excited, but I'm also kind of nervous because I want that to happen so bad.
You want the connection, right?
I want the connection.
Wouldn't it be great?
Oh, God, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. I'm a writer. I'm a regular writer.
Jesus. Yeah.
Tooting his little horn over there.
Yeah, his
little. Keyword little.
Little teeny horn.
Little horn.
A little offshoot.
Oh.
Just made myself throw up.
In some cultures, they only eat vomit.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Lord.
I read it.
All right. So with that
in a book.
With that, guys, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to read some of the comments that you guys put up about this episode, the things they carried, and a little bit of news, and then that'll do it for us.
You know what? Let's not go to break. Let's just
Let's
go to a quick live read. I'm going to get some music.
Fuck it.
What's the live read on? Farts?
Adam and Eve.
Sexual.
Get your dildos.
Oh my Lord! That was the creepiest I've ever heard.
Get your dildos. He says. Do it again. Do it again, Thomas.
That was his creepy voice.
Do it again, Thomas.
No, he doesn't need to do it again. I have it isolated now. I have it.
He wants to hear it again.
Do it again.
Get your dildos.
I think that might be disturbing.
Who needs a condom?
Oh, Jesus.
It's the old woman who runs the show.
You sound like a character from Game of Thrones, like one of the peasants. All right, here we go. All right, everyone. Quick live read, courtesy of adamandeve.com.
Get your dildos.
Oh, now you just ruined it. Now you've ruined it.
Let me ask you a question. Are you getting enough?
Dildos?
I bet you'd love more, right? Well, adamandeve.com wants to give you more with 10 free gifts. First, you'll get a sexy surprise for her. Second, a specially selected toy for him. And third, a little something we know you both enjoy. Plus, you'll get a full-length adult movie on DVD.
Oh, you said full-length and you stopped. And I was like, full-length what?
And number 10, free shipping on your entire order.
Free shipping?
So what do you have to do?
That's worth it alone.
So what do you have to do to get your 10 free gifts? Well, it's not hard.
Unlike the gifts.
Yet.
Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It can be an adventurous new toy, sexy piece of lingerie, or anything you desire. Sexy lingerie for you, Ryan.
Actually, I would like edible crotch panties.
There you go.
That's sexy lingerie.
Just enter offer code RAINMAN at checkout, and you'll get all 10 free gifts. Go check out adamandeve.com today. Select one item, get 10 free gifts, including free shipping when you enter offer code RAINMAN.
Our own little code.
That's RAINMAN at adamandeve.com.
Great job.
So disturbing. I don't know why. We say disturbing shit all day long,
I know.
but for some reason that was really disturbing.
I think it's just because you imagine like this old,
like an old
wrinkled nose, haggard woman with like a shawl yelling and waving dildos on the street.
Do it again, Thomas. Louder.
Get your dildos.
Add like an Irish accent to it slightly, and you got it. There you go. And it's perfect.
I don't even know. Can I do?
I can do an Asian accent. Yeah, get your dildo.
The Irish accent's all high pitched and stuff. Though.
Come on, I'm coming down the hill on my horseback.
Get your dildos.
Come on, keep it going.
Sir, you stop and get your dildos.
Oh, please, for the love of God, make that a drop.
Oh, it is.
Oh my God.
I don't see. I just hear myself, so I don't even know what it sounds like.
You don't have music on?
I'm really quiet, so my own voice usually. And with the music, I get drowned out.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Shit.
Did you see that picture I posted of the worm?
Yeah, dude.
Isn't that so badass looking, dude?
So creepy, dude.
I would love to have that signed by Cole, and I blow that shit up and put that as a poster in here.
That'd be cool.
That's that's awesome, dude. That's a
silver Sharpie right in the black.
You think
the imagery? That's such a great shot,
but
dude.
Is it a high res shot?
No, it's not.
We need to find a high res shot of that, dude, and have it blown up.
Yeah, it's just it's so good. I love alien sci-fi. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah,
it's not an alien.
Sci-fi horror.
It looks like one.
It's a creature.
But that's why I like it.
So, guys, we've got the comments from all of you from the Facebook page about what you thought of the things they carried. And again, I apologize if I butcher names because I'm sure I will.
You want to just make it simple and just do like first names.
I'm just going to go with first names right now. You guys can see on there. You know who you are.
If you know the last name, go ahead and say it.
All right. So this is from Kat. She says, amazing episode. I really enjoy the relationship between Cole and Dean. They aren't friends, far from it, but there's a certain understanding that has bonded them. They really know each other, even though they just met. Kudos to Travis and Jensen for bringing this to life.
We talked about that.
We talked about
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely agree.
100%.
I'm going to like that.
Willow Emerald. I apologize if that's not right, but I think that's right.
You can read. That's right.
That's we met her at Comic-Con, at the Supernatural Con.
I know. I'm just saying the last name.
Reading's hard.
She says, it was a really awesome episode. Had the creepy factor to it, just like the first few seasons of Supernatural, which I love.
Yep.
And all of the camera work was really great.
I agree.
Sam's still trying to find a way to save Dean, and Dean just accepting his fate. Dean has the mark, and he has to live with it. I really like the fact that they touch on PTSD, but I like how it was Supernatural's spin on it. I love how Dean did everything he could to save Cole, making me question more if Kane is really dead or if we just haven't seen the side effects of Kane killing Kane on Dean yet.
That's a good solid point.
That is a fair point.
You know,
we talked about at the end.
The fact that he has no reaction makes you think, okay, either confuses the hell out of us,
right,
or maybe he didn't kill him.
She says, Dean telling Cole not to give up and to keep fighting was really good, but you could also tell that he knew there might be a chance he would have to kill Cole, and Dean accepted that. Which I think leads into what Dean told Sam at the end. Sometimes the guys just die. You can do everything to save someone, but it doesn't always work, and you have to accept that. Now, a big shout out to Travis for doing a wonderful job in the episode. He's an amazing actor. I also feel that the character Cole fits in with Sam and Dean. I don't know why, but he just seems to fit.
He really does.
He really does.
He's not one of them. He's cut from a different cloth, and I think that makes it interesting.
It's
so far,
opposite a little bit.
So far, we've seen the hunters we've been introduced to, or the people who are in the know, are kind of on the same page as them.
And also really jaded dicks.
Even Felicia Day, for the most part, is jaded.
Now a little bit.
Yes, even at the beginning, though, she was running from shit. She wasn't in the know.
She was thrown into the fire right away.
Right, but she had her own sense of jadedness, kind of finding yourself. Same thing with Kim Rhodes to some degree. With Cole, he knows who he is. He's not a confused person. So I think that's what's much different. This guy is a stable individual. That's just a totally different. I think he's a different person completely, personality-wise. And I think that it works in its own odd way.
I agree. Ryan, you got the next one?
Yeah, from Lynn Montanari. I enjoyed it. Felt good to see the two brothers back on the road and on the hunt. I like the parallelism with Sam not being able to save that soldier and possibly not being able to save Dean, which I don't think
we didn't mention that, but that's a good point.
Awesome. And then she says we may have gotten foreshadowing last week with what Kane said, which is terrifying for us.
We
fans.
all talked about that.
Yeah, we all talked about that. Anyway, it was great seeing Cole again. I was hoping for a little more from him besides getting in the way, essentially. But I hope he doesn't go away. I think he can be a cool addition to the SPN family for more seasons to come.
I didn't necessarily feel like he got in the way.
I don't think
this is something I totally spaced on, but when he attacked Dean at the end and he's like, you're going to make me shoot you kind of thing, did anyone else feel like that was intentional so that the worm would try to come out? Ryan?
Sometimes you just got to get the worm
Sometimes
to
you got to
out.
get the worm out.
Dude, sometimes you just got to get the worm out. Bro.
It's basically like flicking it. You know, flicking
the bean.
Yeah, no, the penis, the tip of the head.
Oh, so you flick it to try to wake it up.
When you go to the locker room, you don't want to look like a schlub, so you just
dude, I flick it to make it get bigger.
That's
not
what I'm
to
saying.
make it go down.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to look like a schlub. You don't want to look like, oh, look, he has a small dick.
You got a
so
semi.
You got to shake
go for
it.
a semi.
Yeah, you got to shake it.
You got to shake weight it a little bit. And
right.
then you go for a semi.
Is that gay that you're trying to get hard for a bunch of guys in a locker room?
A little bit. It's a little gay.
Well, you don't want to look shriveled either. Right?
Hey, but I won't sound like a queer or nothing. But
you got the next one, man?
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Let's see. Amanda Lysecki.
We know her as well.
Yes. She even apologized for her long post. One, the con worm is actually a Goa'uld from Stargate. The similarities are blaring, she says. 2, love seeing Cole again. I like the hesitant way he and the Winchesters interact. Mutual suspicion, yet an odd sort of respect and twisted truth. It fits given their rough history. I'm excited that he didn't die and could be very possibly coming back.
See, isn't that sad? That's I think people fear. Like, please don't die. Please don't die.
Please don't die. Please don't die.
It's like real life.
It's kind of the same. This is TV now.
Yep. I walk up to people. Hey, please don't die.
Well, some TV shows just abuse it, and there's no rhyme or reason. It's just stupid writing.
She says,
Walking Dead.
Way to throw that in there. 3, I've seen a lot of people upset about Dean giving up, in quotations. The Mark of Cain, I guess, I don't see it as, hey, Dean's giving up on life. There's no hope for him. I see it more as, hey, Dean's accepted the fact that he's basically has this insurmountable, incurable disease, that he's done everything he can to live his life the best he can while he still can.
Yeah, it's basically like being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Yeah. You have a 99%,
95% mortality rate.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's pretty much like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like, but okay. To me, that is a very difficult and admirable thing to do. On the other hand, I think it makes perfect sense for Sam to keep trying to find answers. It's good to see him fighting for his brother. I hope he is successful, though I'm afraid he won't be. At least not on his own. And not just by researching himself to death. Some other factor is going to have to come into play if the Mark of Cain is ever going to go away.
Now, hold on. Researching himself to death is good. Is a good little word there, because, like, I mean, come on, Sam. What are you going to find on the internet?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to find. You're going to find some
blog. Totally met this dude named Cain today. He was really knowledgeable about the early days.
I mean, isn't there another way to show?
Yeah, Tumblr.
It seemed kind of like a dick.
Hashtag Mark of Cain. He's following hashtags. That's the worst research ever. But I'm saying, like, it would be cooler to see him out, like maybe out from the bunker and doing some like search of archaeological searches, something like from ancient times. I would believe that more than on your phone, like searching shit. There's only so many things you're going to find. You're not going to find the answer in Wikipedia, Sam. Simmer down.
Part 4. Sam/Jared was so great in that last scene when he was broken up about Kit. I thought for sure he was going to cry, and that line he said, I tried, I just couldn't save this one, broke my heart, because it sounded so much like something Jared would say too, especially in the light of his amazingly successful Always Keep Fighting campaign.
That nice little plug there.
Yeah, a little hashtag there. I actually agree with that. That was an emotional. I mean, that was very, very.
It did the traditional Supernatural. Here's a little bit of the main story at the beginning. Here's a little bit at the end. That has to do with everything else, despite what happened in this episode. So I thought that was good too. Megan Harvey says, "I'm convinced that the best is yet to come for this season. I think every little seem less one of episode." I just had a stroke, or I couldn't read that properly.
I just had a mild stroke.
And storyline dropped, parentheses, Cain dead, the veil, even Cole driving off into the happy sunset back to his family, Charlie, wherever she went, Rowena's coven, is all part of a bigger storyline related to the Mark, and that is yet to play out. There you go, Mike. That's your theories, too. I think we are being set up for an awesome end to the season and an epic season 11. Maybe I'm overly optimistic, but I trust the writers. Could be good. We talked about that just this episode.
You know, I like Megan. I like that. I trust the writers, because you don't hear that a lot.
You don't.
And I really, even though we do again, guys, we do a show where we have to nitpick a bit,
right?
But I for the most part, 99.5% sure, much like pancreatic cancer, I trust the writers. So I do.
Sarah Matthews says the storyline with Cole is pretty good.
I'm gonna like that.
There you go. You got a like from Mike.
Oh, that's gay.
But I am confused as to why Sam was acting stony and out of character. He should have told the wife lady that he got a brain parasite overseas and not told her his life story, because there wasn't enough time for it, and she's going to resist it anyway. However, the cinematography was awesome.
Indeed.
The intro victim scene was creepy and total horror, which I loved.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Ryan, you got the next one?
Yeah. Let's see. From Don?
Yeah.
That's your buddy, right? Don Garrett.
Don says, I didn't like the way that it ended. I was really hoping for a Cole spinoff. I know that it's still possible. It just seems unlikely.
It's too early.
I
announced that plan after the failure of Bloodlines.
And you know what? I did feel a little bit like.
What are you talking about? Bloodlines is the greatest episode ever in the history of Supernatural.
Get him back in the cage. Who let him out?
Yeah, you can't bag on Bloodlines, dude. Lou loves it.
Bloodlines is how you summon him, much like much like Bloody Mary in the mirror.
you say Lou
Ferrigno 3 times and tap your heels, and he'll pop out.
Just Lou Ferrigno, and all you have to say is my name 3 times, and I
or
come
Bloodlines once,
and pay me $45, and I'll come out of nowhere.
Jesus.
Oh, by the way, I have a handful of people that really want those shirts, so we got to get them made.
All right. What are you talking about?
The Bloodline shirts. Remember the Lou Ferrigno shirts we talked about?
What are you talking about? Lou Ferrigno's in the studio right now.
We need to get him on the show. Can we get him a guest appearance? Can we please get him in a guest appearance on Supernatural?
Dude, that's a
Supernatural.
shit show,
That'd be great,
God,
dude.
no.
What are you talking about, Sam?
They talk on the phone all the time. How would he know what happened?
Damn.
They would have to text everything.
They wouldn't be. But
damn, I can't hear you. I need to kill this demon.
But the audience would never know because it'd be in vibrate.
They
You'd
get
have to be in vibrate.
FaceTime. They get FaceTime. There you go.
I'm trying to read this text from Dean.
If there's any lagging, he's fucked. He won't be able to read their lips. Oh my God, dude.
Wow.
We just hit a new low.
What the fuck is wrong with this? This is what happens when we're not on for a month.
My stomach hurts from laughing.
All right.
Ryan, you got another one?
Yeah, I'll read the real short one. From Darnell, one of the best episodes ever. Well, that was easy.
I like Darnell. He has a middle finger up.
Yeah.
In his picture.
There we go.
I'm liking him.
Keeping it real. I love it.
I'm going to reply to that.
I like that guy. I'm going to friend him. Seriously. I need more friends like that
Darnell,
in my life.
If you're listening, you're a boss. Shut
up. Sean says, I thought this was a very well done episode. The underlying political commentary about veterans and their care worked really well into the story without being preachy. The story of Cole seeking redemption of his friend worked out as a nice parallel to Sam and Dean's problem with the Mark. I love the choices made with regards to filming, such as the Misty Town. I love that Silent Hill vibe as they came in. You guys, anyone else care about that at all?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, other than Sean. The shot of the exterminator van as they rolled in that foreshadowed the monster, and the military video that Cole played, just to name a few. Finally, this cemented my wish that Travis gets his own Cole spinoff. The guy has great acting chops and fits into the world so perfectly.
Look at our smart listeners, dude. Look at our.
I love this.
Look at the listeners, dude. Like you go to the Walking Dead page. You're like, hey, what did you guys think of this episode?
There were zombies.
It was great. Oh, I love Rick Grimes.
There were some zombies and stuff, and they were killing some zombies.
There were some zombies and stuff.
I love Supernatural fans. Okay.
I love me some zombies, and that damn Daryl Dixon, he can shoot him a crossbow. Some bitch.
He ain't gay either. Don't make that guy gay.
That guy ain't gay, man. I don't want to sound like a queer or nothing, but I'd like to make love to Daryl Dixon.
You love how there's like murder and attempted child rape's okay, but Daryl might, be into dudes, and that's just where they fucking draw the line.
Right.
Daryl can't suck no dicks. He don't like dicks.
Merle would have let him if he was alive.
Merle was the best character on that goddamn show.
Merle would chop his dick out and put it in his own mouth just to keep the other dude from sucking it.
What the fuck?
All right, we need to move on.
I don't even know.
Ryan just checked out, dude. He's gonna die over there.
Ryan needs a minute, so I'll read the next one. Oh my god!
I love when Ryan dies.
I
laughing.
know, dude. He's crying. He's like legitimately crying. Okay.
Oh man.
Earl better.
This Cole character is supposed to be 23 years old, but he looks a lot older than that. They couldn't, write him a little different. Like instead of Dean killed his elderly father when he was in his 20s 10 years ago, instead of his dad at 13. 2, where's Cass? Seriously, I'm like, well, guys,
he's off fucking bitches.
It's been one episode theoretically. It's been one episode since we last saw him.
Banging hoes.
So,
dude.
Just saying, he'll be there. Number 3, I really wish the Kane storyline had an epic sweeping sense of mythological storytelling like seasons 2 through 5 had. It's got some serious potential. It really shows the writers are just taking it one episode at a time and not focusing on the season as a whole, which is annoying. Sam and Dean, Cass and Crowley are such well-established characters that they could really fire off some cool shit, like the last episode where Dean killed Kane. We'll put killed in quotes just because for Ryan. 4, I miss when Sam used to be intelligent. Burn towards Sam. And 5, prediction for the rest of the season, Heaven and Hell are full of boring white people in suits doing paperwork, and they're not even addressing people are getting
how come
stuck
there's
in
no
the veil.
Mexican angels? What's up with that shit?
Let's be honest, dude. You guys don't go to heaven.
Doesn't matter. Well, vessels.
You guys are all so Catholic, and
no one wants to take Mexicans as vessels.
No, you guys have to jump over the border.
So with that, I mean, the only Mexican we ever had was a Leviathan, the dude from the Shield.
You guys
got to
upgraded.
sneak your way into heaven.
So stupid.
You guys upgraded. From
Is there like a
demons.
Rio de Janeiro into heaven?
Is there a river into heaven? We can swim over it.
The river Styx.
We can swim through it.
Yeah, you guys sneak through the river Styx.
Yeah. Okay, so I really wish the Kane storyline had the epic sweeping senses of the mythological storytelling from seasons. I do get that. I agree with that. It would have been nice to kind of delve more into the Christian lore, but I think Carver is trying his hardest not to rehash things we've seen. So I think he's kind of like, hey, stay away from all that rather than because how are you going to redo what Kirby's done?
You're not gonna.
So I think he's trying to do the best of both worlds, the new version of SPN and the old. And for the most part, I do enjoy it because when they do have it, they do it right with the Kane stuff and everything that surrounds the Kane and the Mark of Kane, I think has been done really well.
And here's the reason I buy into it with what Carver's done of taking it one episode at a time. They don't really know all the bits and pieces. They don't have anybody constantly doing research. They don't have a Bobby. They no longer have Kevin.
Right.
They don't have, the revelation that angels exist of season 4 to give them a bunch of information. Castiel doesn't know a whole lot about it. The only one who does is Metatron, and he's not talking.
Right.
So I kind of like.
Do you think I'm almost leaning to the fact that Metatron really doesn't know shit.
I don't think he knows.
He's
shit.
that guy in Death Row that's trying to use that one little.
He's using it so they won't kill him.
Right, and that's it.
And I don't think he knows crap. But that's why I buy into the fact that we're taking it one step at a time, learning as we go, because there's no one in the back at HQ.
But her saying that it really shows the writers are just taking one episode at a time. They kind of are. If you go back to what Sam said, or not Sam, but Jared Padalecki said at one of the conventions, he said
Phoenix one.
They don't even have a season finale yet planned.
Yeah.
And that, I think, I don't know, man. I mean, yes, it's smart. To a degree, I think it's smart.
I disagree.
I think it's smart a little bit to keep some things open-ended. I mean, back in the early part of the season. Leave it open-ended for feedback.
If this wasn't episode 16,
because if
maybe.
someone, right, because if someone, let's say the audience absolutely hated what was going on, then you have room to change it.
Right.
But we're on episode 16. There's no changing from here on out.
But
you guys need to have that season kind of planned out.
At the same time, I usually side with writers over fans.
I agree.
Part. And I think that if you do that kind of thing, where you don't really have where you're going, that you don't have your end path, you kind of can fall into a trap of doing what the fans want rather than what makes sense. And then you're sacrificing the story.
Right. That I agree with you. But what if, for example, Gamble paid attention to social media a bit on season 7.
And that's
Thank God she didn't, because she'd hear us bitching about her.
There's
the
a
time.
fine line of paying attention to reaction and sticking with what you planned out.
Right.
But I don't even think. I
listen,
think Gamble's storyline just didn't make sense.
Right.
Ultimately,
I mean, ultimately, I believe the artist should never explain his work. Period. Okay. Ultimately, that's what I stand by. But there is a certain amount of smartness for Carver paying attention to the fan base in this aspect to a degree, because the SBN fan base is very vocal.
Oh, yeah.
And the fandom is more vocal than many fandoms. And they're a smart fandom that believes in, that feels like they have legitimate ideas, a lot of them.
Yeah.
They have ideas that actually make sense. So I think it's smart to listen to them to a degree. To a degree.
I agree.
To a degree, I agree. Now, Cole being 23, we said that at the beginning.
They should have written that.
They should just make. Why not make him older? I don't get
30.
it. I mean, he's 39 years old. Yes, he's a younger looking guy. He doesn't look like
he does not look 39 at all.
Right. So but he does look older than 23.
But he doesn't look 23.
Right.
I don't know what you guys.
You don't look 23.
I'm 24 and I don't look 23.
No, you don't, because you're 24.
Let's pick two more. Then we got to move on.
What do you want to skim?
I actually want to read this one.
Go ahead.
So this is from Sarah Shepard. Solid episode, but it had its issues. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm done with the Cole character. Travis is awesome and so sweet, but the initial character arc for Cole was good and meaningful, and now I feel like he's getting shoehorned into this episode, but doesn't add a whole lot.
Let me stop you right there. Hold on.
Let me
stop right there. Hold on. Now, let's break this down. Let's bring the first sentence down. It's a long paragraph.
Yeah.
Okay, first sentence. She's 100% right. His arc at the beginning was great.
Yeah. At a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Is he being shoehorned in?
No.
I don't agree with that.
No, I absolutely disagree.
I feel like his arc was an introduction. It was an epic introduction.
Yeah.
And now they're bringing him in and say, hey, guys, remember Cole? He's still here. And it made sense to the whole military backdrop.
Yep. That's why I don't.
Do you guys disagree or agree?
No, I absolutely agree. She says, yes, once he gets the con worm, it's useful mirror of Dean's whole Mark of Cain issue. But that part could have easily been played by a random guest star. It being Cole didn't add much for me. And she says, also, Gabriel is the only person who gets to call Dean Dino.
Okay, stop right there. Now, Gabriel, back in season whatever it was, would you have said that about Gabriel?
No.
No.
No, you wouldn't.
No, because let's remember, us Supernatural fans take a while to really truly connect. And then maybe in season 13, we're like, oh, the next person. No, only Cole and Gabriel can say Dino.
Right.
He's new still. So there's going to be some people that don't want us
and
to.
And it works. He can pull it off.
Well, he does it different than. Gabriel was very cynical.
He's a dick and he knew it.
Right. Cole says it in more of a sarcastic tone, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, she says, and Sammy Boy, she says, gives me PTSD from all the bad guys who have called Sam that over the years. Well,
just
Sammy
really
Boy
catchy.
is what Sam...
I do like that play on word she used. I do like that.
Yeah.
PTSD. I like that.
Then she says, mostly I'm just tired of the military angle. And I'm sorry to say that Travis Aaron Wade was a little wooden at times in this episode, although that might be because J2 are such amazing actors, so he looked worse next to them.
Hold on. Okay, so, yes, Jared and Jensen are
phenomenal
in their roles. Remember them from season 1, guys.
Yeah.
Not that great. So
it's a long time though. We just think they've always been like
watch
this. Go all the way back.
Watch season 1 or episode 1.
There's a couple times.
Episode 1 was phenomenal, but there were some moments where their acting wasn't stellar. It's because you got to get comfortable in a role. So she is right on that. In that point where I don't think Cole's 100% found his character, but that doesn't mean his performance was wooden. I think what she's misreading is what we talked about earlier in the show.
The guy's kind of pissed off with them still.
He's trying to defend. He doesn't know them. He's out of his element.
They want to kill his friend.
Yeah, he is wooden because he's being. But I think it's intentional.
Exactly.
It's very intentional.
She ends it with, but more importantly, why does Dean suddenly want cake all the time?
When does he not want junk food?
First in the Hansel and Gretel episode, now with this one. Maybe the Mark of Cain is hungry for cake, but give the man some pie.
Hey, don't hate on cake. Okay, cake is delicious.
I did laugh pretty hard when he fingered that cake.
I know, right?
I was like, it's such a kid, dude.
I would have licked my.
Who does it? I think, dude, I'm the most clean freak in the world.
Oh, I won't do it.
But if there's, no, I would. If there's a cake there, I'm doing it, dude.
I'll take the piece. I won't finger bang the cake.
No, dude. I'm getting in there like, oh.
Now, this is so stupid. Look at him, dude. Rubbing the clit of the cake.
I am the clit commander.
Now, I respect everything Sarah said, and it's actually written out, and it makes sense. I totally see where she's coming from.
I understand her point of view. We just disagree.
I just disagree with almost everything.
We don't like what you said, Sarah.
We just, according to Carla, we just love Cole so much we can't see anything else.
Apparently.
Yeah, which is completely inaccurate because, listen, if Cole sucked, he would suck.
Yeah.
Regardless.
We would say he sucked.
We brought him on the show as an interview because we thought he was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought him on because I just wanted to date him.
One more. Read Monica's.
One last one here. This is from Monica. I'm going to skip the middle. I apologize. Dennis. Cole, just admit it. You want to be a hunter. You're just figuring out the logistics with your family. And Dean, dude, it's a sweat lodge. Take off the darn overshirt. You know we want you to.
I wanted him to. I was like, dude, I just want to see your abs.
I'll be honest. Dean's not buff, guys. That's why he leaves his shirt on all the time.
Do you think? Dude, I think Jensen's buff, bro.
Jared, we know, is ripped.
Listen, I trained people in the gym for almost 12. No, hold on. I trained people for competitions that won trophies for awards. I kind of know when someone's buff underneath their shirt.
I
sounded very arrogant.
You know what Thomas looks like without his shirt on?
That's so rude, dude.
Oh my god,
Sorry, I'm there too.
All right.
I don't know, dude. He looks pretty ripped in some of these pictures. And that's a lot of
no.
airbrushing.
Hold on. He's in shape. He's fit. He's fit. Sam is buff.
Not anymore.
Not no more. Not so much no more.
Not no more.
Because he busted his arm.
But back in the past, in earlier seasons, Sam is buff, and Dean is a fit individual. He isn't like buff. He doesn't have protruding pecs and huge biceps. He just doesn't. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Doesn't.
Just so all you ladies
Not
know,
that
Ryan
matters.
is doing his visual research as
I'm
we
checking.
speak.
Not that matters really,
here.
because lots of girls like Thomas and.
Oh, is
They
that?
do?
I think it's a burn.
No, how's that a bird?
You're like, well, it's okay. A lot of people like Thomas, and he's a sack of shit.
He's a
Thomas,
hideous-
are
he's a
you
hideous-
buff?
No, I'm
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Dude, Jarrett's not buff either. He's cut. There's a difference.
But he's more ripped than. What are we really talking about?
I know.
I don't want to sound like
You're gonna check. You need to check his history.
I don't want to sound like a queer or nothing, but
I
think they're both really attractive.
judging by the VDO, the visible dick outline, I gotta say that Jared Padalecki's more hung than Jensen Ackles. It's no wonder.
He's definitely got more down there, probably like a double-barreled shotgun.
Yeah.
Down
Why
there.
are all your guys' gay voices also rednecks?
I don't want to sound like queer or nothing, but he's a pretty attractive man.
Oh my god!
I'll make love to him tonight.
We passed
Do you want to
Okay.
do the?
Yeah,
I'll
oh,
just
for
talk-
sure. This
Alright,
is
just-
Ryan's contributing.
Ryan, you wanna do this
We
one?
Okay,
have to
I
bring-
actually contributed this. I found this on Facebook. I came across it and I immediately sent it to Mike. No, I'm not going to read the article but I know the synopsis of it. So basically, Stephen Amell, who is really good friends, obviously with J2, Jensen, and Jared, went to the head of CW and actually pitched a crossover fan fiction with the Supernatural, so Arrow and Supernatural.
Ooh.
Now here's the thing, and I actually talked about
he pitched what, a fan fiction you said, or an actual episode?
an episode. They want to do an episode that was based on fan fiction, I guess, that he read.
Oh,
Now here's my I think this could be really cool, but they're going to have to do it a specific way, and it has to be either a dream sequence or it has to be. It's going to be hard, dude. I know that in Flash.
You know how it would work?
How?
And it doesn't ruin the WB world they've created, their DC world. Because you got to remember, if you introduce Supernatural Sam and Dean, all of a sudden it becomes part of their world, and it kind of messes up what they have going.
And that
But what you do is you do it as a Supernatural episode, and you get meta with it. You get meta with it. And you do a French Connection thing where they go back into the world they were in before, where Sam and Dean are actors, and they meet either
Stephen
Arrow or they meet Steve Amell. I think it would be better if they go into their world, into another world, and the guy and Arrow
They come
actually
across Arrow.
exists.
Yeah.
Like this, they went into a world where Arrow
here's
exists.
Here's the thing that I thought would be cool.
There are
And
other dimensions.
Someone brought this up that actually someone was like, well, that sounds cool, and Stephen Amell's cool, and Arrow's cool, but I want to see a Supernatural Constantine crossover. Or then you could have Cass and Constantine be like,
whose jacket's better?
Why are you wearing my jacket?
The only reason why that wouldn't work is because the mythology between both are very different.
I just thought that'd be cool.
It would be cool.
I like the Arrow one because you can have fun with it.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of fun with it, and you would have to do it meta, and it would have to be from the Supernatural
You'd have to bring
standpoint.
the Flash in too.
It would.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, you might.
I don't know.
And you would have to do it in the alternate universe. You can't do it in their world. It just would mess things up.
It would throw it all.
But if you did that French Connection thing, that it would
But then
work.
are you repeating yourself?
Not if you do that.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Ryan wouldn't care. He'd
Now,
just be so
don't
excited.
go into this. Like I said earlier, don't go into the world where Sam and Dean exist, where they were actors, but go into a different universe, French Connection style, where the Arrow actually exists. That would be effing fantastic.
Dude, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'd be in.
Yeah,
I would watch the.
It would have to be meta through and through.
Yeah, I would watch the fuck out of that, dude. And the thing is, right now, Stephen Amell has such power with CW, and so do the brothers, Jensen and Jared. This could happen, dude.
They're not brothers in real life, dude.
Oh, they're not? They're like bros, bro.
They might as well be.
Bro.
Well, we'll see. That would be
Dude,
cool.
I'm when I read that, I got all fucking giddy, dude. Because I watch Arrow, I watch Flash, I watch Supernatural. I mean, I literally watched them all in the same day. Like, I'm like, oh, time to watch all my shows. or actually I say it like this. It's time to watch all my shows. Like a soap opera old lady.
You gotta watch your stories.
My stories. Don't change the channel, Wilfred. That's my stories. But I got super excited because there's a good chance that this could happen.
It could be cool, but it'll all depend on how exactly they do it. So we'll have to wait and see.
Always the negative one.
Yep, bringing you back down.
Way to bring me down a couple notches.
I don't think it's going to happen, but if it did, it would be awesome.
You'd watch it?
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, it'd be great.
Why wouldn't you?
It would be a great filler episode and just fun. And it doesn't even have to be a filler. Look at the last, the French Connection was not filler.
Think about this. You get Mark of Cain Dean with the first blade against Slade Wilson Deathstroke. Sick.
That'd be awesome.
Slade Wilson would win.
Listen, man,
he's gonna win.
And now that we're on this topic, supernatural executives, in control.
Okay. If you're listening,
please look at the example that Arrow, the Flash, and the new one with Adam, and Dr. Cold or Dr. Freeze. What's the
Captain Cold?
Captain Cold. Look at what they've done and how good it is.
Oh, it's
it
amazing.
is by far the best thing on television when it comes to connection and spinoffs. Look to what they're doing and please copy it. There's no problem. Don't reinvent the wheel. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And I think it's a brilliant method that they're doing.
So
and Supernatural, do the same effing thing.
If you're listening, just take the Cole character,
copy paste that word
and
document.
copy and paste, and give us a spinoff with Cole.
Listen, you have originals and vampires that have done it original and Vampire Diaries that have done it good. You have Flash and Arrow and the new Adam series that's done it great. You guys can deliver more. You guys are better than all of them. So you can deliver a spinoff that's awesome. Please, just do it.
We're counting on you.
We are
no more bloodlines.
No more bloodline.
All right, guys, with that's going to wrap it up for us here at Supernatural The Crossroads. I want to thank you for listening. After a month of us being gone, we will be back.
We were holding ourselves for that.
That's like a 3-hour show, dude.
I know, dude. Well,
I know.
People ask for longer ones all the time, especially from Mike.
They always want longer.
No, they always want longer when it's your case, Thomas.
I know. That's where I came up with that. Thanks for listening. As always, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Crossroads SPN, Bold Irishman, The Ryan Denton. Talk to us. We love listening to you guys and reading all your stuff, and we will see you all in about a week.
You little maggot. You are no longer a part of this story. Hey, ass butt.